It's football weather here in El Cajon, California for the National Public Safety Football League season opener as the Charlotte Cobras travel to San Diego to take on the Enforcers. Welcome inside the booth. TC Wardell, Bo Fertig on the call. Charlotte Cobras coming in this one as the defending champs. You caught up with Coach Davis before the game. What were some things he mentioned?
Well, so much for it never raining in Southern California.
Of course.
But Coach Davis, I caught him on just coming off the plane from Charlotte, and he said coming here with a younger team, it was something he was really excited about. There's a lot of turnover in National Public Safety League football. He's got a little bit younger team this year. He's really excited about the program they've got this season. One thing he did add is that due to scheduling conflicts, a number of his defensive backs are not going to be here today, so they're going to be very thin in the secondary. But they've got a stud of a player in Donovan. They got an outside linebacker who's one of the best in the entire league.
We'll get into him in a minute. They come in as the Division II champions, so they bump their way up to Division I. And for the Enforcers, they go 4-0 last season, lose on a coin toss. That has to be heartbreaking. This is their first game back.
It is. And Coach Salmon, who's one of the best in the business, he's been here with the Enforcers from day one. They've got a strong team as well. They're not. And one thing that Coach Davis had said, this is a team that is going to be slow progression. They are time and possession control offense. You're not going to see big plays out of them, but they're just going to move the ball, move the chains throughout the game. And that's what Coach Davis had said. We're going to have to try to find a way to stop low-scoring affair, possibly big defensive battle tonight.
The Enforcers were the 2023 national champions after having a big season last year. They almost seem to be the team to beat to start the season.
You know, it almost seems that way every year with San Diego. Everyone's kind of got a target for them. They got something on their back every year. They always have outstanding talent here in San Diego. Coaching's great. They buy into the program. Again, we see a lot of the turnover with players, but this is a team that is pretty consistent with pretty much the same roster as last season. They're going to be tough to beat, and a lot of teams are going to have a tough time getting by them this season.
Coach Salmon leads the way for the Enforcers. He's been their coach since day one. That has to be definitely an advantage San Diego.
It is. It is because you get that kind of continuity and consistency year over year with your schemes and with your program. And the players have bought into it over the years. This has been a program that's been around since 1998. And this year, again, they're looking for another title.
So the Charlotte Cobras won the toss. They deferred. They're going to kick it off to San Diego, so the Enforcers are going to start with the ball. We mentioned it's raining. It looks like the rain is holding up just a bit. Light rain is expected throughout.
Exactly right. I mean, probably throughout the entire game, so hopefully we don't see too many issues with the rain today, but I do expect to slow the game up a little bit. Both, like I said, this is two strong defenses, two ball control offenses. It's going to be a slugfest in the middle of the field.
We are a moment away from kickoff. Right before then, we are going to have a moment of silence and get it to our national anthem. And a beautiful rendition of our national anthem. Remember, first responders playing football here tonight, and the grind these players endure in addition to regular work and family schedules. It's one of the reasons why Charlotte is missing a few guys here tonight.
Exactly. It is a labor of love. There's no doubt about it. These players come out here. They're spending a lot of their own money and their own time to come out and play the game that they love so much. And this has been a tremendous league for years. And what we're looking for is more transparency, more popular, getting people out here and excited about this game.
And it's people like you at home donating to this league to keep this going. Is
So
not the agency, it's not the departments, it's the people at home continuing this league.
Absolutely correct.
If anyone is interested in contributing to a specific team, the league as a whole, or advertising with the NPSFL, please send a DM on Instagram or email npsfl.network@gmail.com.
Here we go.
So as mentioned, this is the season opener for the National Public Safety Football League. Charlotte will be kicking off to San Diego, and I was speaking with a couple coaches before the game, and they were saying this has been a back and forth. I don't think any team has won 2 consecutive games between these two programs.
No, exactly right. In fact, the last time I covered these two teams was back in 2015, and that was a Donnybrook. What an offensive slugfest that was. And this one may be a little bit different due to the weather constraints and both offenses being more in terms of ball control. But always, these two teams, they bring it every time they come to the field.
Well, there's a little confusion to start the kickoff.
Who's going what direction?
It's one of those, well, you know what, ref? The wind has suddenly switched directions, so we want to kick now from this side. So you have the kicker on one side telling the white cap, hey, we're kicking over here, and you have the white cap telling the kicker, no, sir, I'm the white cap for a reason.
The first game of the year, everyone's trying to figure it out, work it out. We're going to be okay. Let's just let's get the kinks out now in game one and get things going. Long trip for Charlotte to come out here. And as we mentioned before, they're going to be a little light on the roster with some players with scheduling conflicts with work. So you'll probably see some guys going both ways or playing some special teams.
Marion Nate Archer back to return, a big-time, big-body receiver. And he's back there with Darad Akili.
And they're using the old NFL kickoff.
I like that. I mean, this is a game where we want to keep our first responders healthy.
Yes.
Kaishan Merchant will be kicking it off, and it's the season opener to the National Public Safety Football League. And that's brought in by Archer inside the 20, crosses the 30 and to the 35, gets knocked out of bounds, and a nice return for the San Diego Enforcers. Let's get to their starting lineup on offense, led by quarterback Jay Gonzalez in the backfield, Steven Swiatkowski, and the receivers, outside receiver Alec Dana, slot receivers Alan Garner and Nate Archer, outside receiver Matt Deans, and up front, left tackle Elias Isaac, left guard Jose Morales, center Andrew Tapia, right guard David Rojas, and right tackle Trey Hamilton. So good starting field position for the San Diego Forces. They will start with the ball at their 40, and behind snap, as mentioned, Jay Gonzalez. The single back, Steven Swiatkowski. Receiver in motion. And we start the game off with the handoff up the middle, and not much there. A big front for the Charlotte Cobras. Let's get into their starting lineup. As mentioned, they run a 4-3 up front. Defensive end, Denzel Samuels. Defensive tackle, number 99, Amaziah Cohen-Mims. Defensive tackle, Leviston Lewis. In 10 years with the Cobras, Kevin Shelf, Jamal Livingston, and Daryl Napper, the corners, along with Devin Easter and Kaishan Merchant in the secondary. And in the middle, Donovan Hayes, their star linebacker, along with Jackson Cummings, the rookie out of Coastal Carolina, and number 4, Colin Hayes.
Keep an eye on number 7, Donovan Hayes. He plays sideline to sideline, is by far the top defensive player.
You mentioned him. This is the second play from scrimmage. First went for a yard from Swiatkowski, and there's a lot of rain today, partner, and it's going to be a little bit of game control.
Little tough sledding there.
I thought with all the excitement, the ball was on the ground for some reason. They were really excited on the short. So 2 short gains on the ground. It'll be interesting to see which team opens up first.
Yeah, I was wondering if San Diego was going to come out and throw the ball in the opening down, but they're going to keep with their conservative play calling and keep the ball with Ski out of the running back position. But now they're facing a 3rd and 7. They're almost in a passing down here, and we'll see.
3rd and long. 2 receivers to the right, and keep an eye on the slot receiver, number 19, Nate Archer. He's a big body. He's running up the seam. Ball out into the flats, brought in just short of the 50, and a great open field tackle by the linebacker from Charlotte, and it'll bring up a 4th and 1.
And here, I think you almost go for it. I mean, personally, you're at midfield on sloppy conditions.
The tackle by Jackson Cummings, the rookie out of Coastal Carolina. And it looks like the punt team will come on.
A little surprised with that call.
Well, knowing that this is a reigning game, field position, maybe some lower points being scored today is a priority.
I would agree, but I would think right here you might want to take a shot with 4th and 1. The ball's at midfield. Charlotte's going to run a spread offense. They're going to try to get the ball downfield, but this rain may not be conducive to that type of offensive scheme for the Cobras.
Carlos Sanchez back to kick for the Enforcers. Devin Geis, a nice high booming kick to return. Geis is going to let it bounce at the 10. It's going to check high, and we'll be down by the Enforcers. So a quick 3 and out for San Diego, and Charlotte will get the ball near their own 10. Let's get to the starting lineup for the Cobras. As you can see, outside wide receiver Stedman Graham, inside receiver Devin Geis, a big playtime guy from the inside, Kevin Alford, and we will talk about him as this game goes on. Jabri Rittenhauer behind snap, Mark Brown in his 11th season, and Jonathan McClure. And you see that big line up front. Ransom, Putnam, Phillips, Hewlett, and Butler.
They run a 4-receiver spread, and watch Jabri Rittenauer. He's kind of that Debo Samuel type of wide receiver who can do a little bit of everything. He's coming out going wide to the left, number 1. They're going to put isolation on him with the corner.
That's a great call with the Debo. Has a similar size as well. Yeah. Use him in a variety of ways. Running back in motion, that's McClure. So empty backfield to start the game for Brown. Pressure up the middle. Brown, quick hit near side. That's to his receiver. Picks up a nice block and a short gain by number 13, Devin Geis. They're really going to want to get the ball to him early.
Absolutely. Stedman with a great block, clear-out block to seal that 5-yard gain. And you're going to see a lot of that today with a little short passing game.
Geis, the slot receiver out of Auburn University.
And you love receivers who block. That's what makes your offense go. That's the second job for wide receivers, is to clear the path for their fellow ball carriers.
So interesting. We saw San Diego start the game very conservative with 2 runs. And even though it was a conservative play call, Charlotte opened it up with a pass. 3 receivers to the short side of the field. Brown serves the Charlotte Fire Department, hands it off, makes that initial defender miss, but tackled in the backfield near the line of scrimmage. It looks like a loss of 1. Great pursuit. Let's get to that starting defense of the Enforcers. They run a 3-4 up front. Andrew Funk out of Fresno State. He's a Bulldog. Defensive tackle Dell Dunlap, Zach Feder, and then the linebacking core, Ace Cortez, Amador Jimenez, Curtis Bryant, and Joe Pellegrini. In the secondary, Chris Calvert, Trey Mosley, Justin Garcia, and Kevin Novick. 5 San Diego Police Department employees here playing on the defense for the Enforcers.
What does that tell you about our police department here in San Diego?
The loss of 1 brings up a 3rd and 7. And we have movement up front. Our first flag of the game.
Both teams pointing at each other. Might be a legal procedure against the Cobras. They're going to back them up. And the officials, their first game, NPSFL game as well. So they're trying to figure it out too.
And this first quarter presented by Fund the first fundraiser, fundthefirst.com. So the false start won't back them up full 5 yards just because of where the ball lies. They'll lose 1 or 2. The ball lies, looks like at the 9, first down marker at the 21, so 3rd and 12. Take that back. It is a full 5 yards, isn't it, partner?
It is.
2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. A 3rd and long. This is a tricky situation with their backs against the goal line.
Let's see how they stretch this out. And now another flag on the field.
The delay of game, and a 3rd and long turns into 3rd and longer.
Again, we're trying to chip the rust off after not playing for an entire season or entire year. So communication still work in progress for both teams.
This seems like a situation where they're just going to be conservative and to be glad to punt the ball away. And this really down right here, making the enforcers' decision-making, making them look good on their side, punting it on 4th and 1 from their own 49.
Should be good field position for the enforcers if, in fact, they do get the Cobras, force the Cobras to punt it away.
Mark Brown in his 11th season as quarterback. The lone running back, Jonathan McClure, out of East Carolina University. 2 receivers to the left, to the right. Right now, our far side receiver, we have a tough snap through the hands of the quarterback. The ball's loose, and it will go through. Oh, they're going to say the enforcers recovered it in the end zone.
Wow.
Touchdown.
Yep.
Okay, so it is a safety.
They're going to call that a safety.
Yeah, they're calling it. So they did recover, but they recovered it after the ball went through the back of the end zone. So 2 points for the enforcers in what we knew was going to be a low-scoring game. The enforcers playing field position and it working out in their favor.
Yeah, first casualty of this weather here tonight so far this evening with that bad snap. But give credit to the enforcer defense, holding them tight.
Let's get to the keys to victory.
Keys to the victory to today's game, control their defensive line is one thing they're talking about. Making big plays on the defensive side of the field.
Well, there's one right there.
And keeping their offense off the field. Here we go, right there. We did that twice. Control field position.
Wow.
I think right now they nailed all 4.
Yeah, I think if we would have talked about that before, we would have been more ready for what they just did, and that's exactly how they played out in their first possession. And sometimes you'll see coaches in those positions not stick to their guns, be a little free. It is the opening season. But right there, as you see keys to victory, that developed into 2 points.
So a quick 2-0 lead for the enforcers. 9 minutes left to go in this opening quarter. We do play 15-minute quarters. And just get back to what you started. I think I'll finish for you. Fund the First. FundTheFirst.com is the #1 trusted and free fundraising platform for those who serve their families and their friends. Fund the First is the business of supporting first responders, military, and medical professionals. Visit FundTheFirst.com today to launch your fundraiser.
Back to kickoff will be Kaichon Merchant.
To punt this one away.
Punting it after the safety.
Well, this is interesting to see off a safety, to see a punter 30 yards behind his line.
So the kick didn't go far enough.
Nope. Interesting.
So it'll be a dead ball. And the enforcers will get, once again, good field position to start their second possession.
And that is something unique. I have not seen that before on a safety.
Let's get to the keys to victory for the visiting team, Charlotte Cobras.
Absolutely, Charlotte. Win the turnover battle. Something that Coach Davis had talked about earlier, that this was a game that they needed to do that in order to win. Play disciplined. And that's to try to be smart and be patient against this enforcer offense. Play fast, of course, and control the tempo. Again, enforcers like to play that ball control type of offense.
Well, it seems like in weather like this, they can't run that tempo that they want.
Exactly. And that is how Charlotte likes to play with their 4 receiver sets.
We have some confusion on the far side of the field with the white cap and head coach Charlie Davis.
Coach Davis doesn't seem to be too pleased with the answer from the official.
So this is the second offensive possession for the Enforcers. Both possessions starting at their own 40-yard line.
It'll be interesting to see if the Enforcers go to the air a little bit and try to take advantage of some, I wouldn't say weakness, but some thinness in the secondary of the Cobras. They've had some players that didn't make the trip.
They come out in the pistol. 2 receivers to the far side of the field. Gonzalez with the snap. Hands it off to Kowski. And he bullies his way forward. Got here near the line of scrimmage and picked up 4.
He took a few players with him from the Cobras, breaking tackles along the way, pick up a 4 on the play. He is a bull of a runner. He fights hard. He doesn't stop, and he's a north-south kind of guy.
And it looks like the Enforcers are going to get right up on the ball, so they're a little bit more conservative on that opening drive, and looks like they're picking up the tempo a little bit here on this second offensive possession.
Trying to get his brother in motion there. He finally decides to go in motion.
2nd and 6, Deans in motion. Swiatkowski gets hit in the backfield, and a trio of Cobras knock him down in the backfield for a loss of 1.
Little ugly in the exchange in the backfield, as it looks like they may have lost their footing, and quickly on the play was Cohen Mims to make from his defensive end position to make the stop.
Let's get to a player spotlight in Donovan Hayes, the linebacker for the Cobras. Police officer with Concord PD. Played at UC Pembroke. Last year was his first season at Charlotte. Plays linebacker, so as you can imagine, partner, he loves hitting people. 3rd and long, once again, the handoff, the stretch, gets to the edge, gets upfield. A helmet's on the floor behind the play, and the running back is tackled short, once again, of a first down.
Fortunately, there's no head in that helmet, and it was able to come off the field as one of the linemen. Little equipment fix for Tapia, but a great run, pick up another 4 yards, make it a manageable 3rd down. But they move the ball back. Looks like we have a flag on the field. We do.
This is the first flag while the Enforcers have been on offense.
It looks like it's going to be marching the other way, so it looks like this is going to go against Charlotte.
Is it 5 or 15, partners?
Looks like it's going.
Looks like 15.
Yep,
it's the big one.
Biggie. They're going to jog off 15 yards.
And the face mask will get San Diego into Charlotte territory for the first time today.
So moving the ball to the 38-yard line of the Cobras. Good opportunity here. 1st and 10 for the San Diego as they go into a bunch formation to the left side of the field. Now they swip. Now they're just going to do a stack with 4 receivers on the near side.
Gonzalez in the empty backfield. This looks like a formation he's going to get the ball out of his hands quickly with. He's going to keep it himself. Has a lane up the middle. But once again, the Cobras interior rallies to the ball, giving up a short gain.
Cobra saw that coming. They brought 2 rushers slanting into them from the B gaps. And Gonzalez saw that, just took right up the middle, picked up about 3 yards.
You can see right here that defensive front. Big number 99, Amazia Cohen Mims. They are huge up front. You look at the defensive tackle number 77 on the screen, Levison Lewis. He's been with the team for 10 years. Short gain brings up a 2nd and long for the Enforcers. The ball at Charlotte's 35. Receiver in motion. He gets the handoff, stretches it to the far side on a sweep. And once again, a lot of north and south movement for the Enforcers. Pick up another short gain.
Yeah, jet sweep over to the left side by the Enforcers. A good piece of running there. Pick up a few, but it's not bringing up a 3rd down and probably 4.
There was a flag on the field, partner, behind the play.
This one may be going against San Diego.
They're actually going to say it was an illegal shift.
So that'll negate the run, so 5-yard penalty.
I'll bring up 2nd and 12 as the Enforcers will now work from behind the sticks. 6:15 and counting here in the opening quarter. They're going to come out in the stack formation once again to the near side of the field.
Isolation to the right.
One-on-one, no safety over the top. Movement up front. I'm sure Gonzalez wanted to have that play run, but they're just going to call it dead.
Well, the Billy Moon Foundation. Organ donation can have a profound impact not just on the recipient, but donors and communities as well. We strive to be that lifeline of support for those in need. Visit BillyMoonFoundation.org for more information on how you can register to become an organ donor today.
There's a lot of movement up front, partner. It could turn. They're gonna.
Oh, wow. They're going to wave that one off.
They're not sure who moved first.
Yeah. So both sides tangoing on the line of scrimmage, and neither are going to be.
When was the last time you've seen that, partner?
Nah. Last time I played Pop Warner and jumped about 6 yards off sides. And
it was the other person. I told you.
Was it me?
Well, they're going to stay on this stack formation.
Yep.
The flag was waved. Single side receiver at the top of your screen. Gonzalez on a 2nd and 12.
Here comes the blitz.
Looks far side to the screen, and that ball's intercepted. A huge turnover on the far side of the field by the Cobras.
Daryl Napper on the pick. They came in with a safety blitz on both sides, and Napper almost reading that.
Well, you read that one like a book, partner. Ran that route better than the receiver did.
Yeah, he did.
Stepped in front of it, and a huge turnover. Coach Davis talked about winning the turnover battle early, and they get one back.
And good field position. Good defensive call by the Cobras. They're bringing the heat, and they decided to go from the far edges. And the pick by Napper gives the Cobras 1st and 10 at their own 47-yard line. So
and Mark Brown and the offense come back on after their last possession ended in a safety.
First big defensive play of the game. And Charlotte looking to take advantage of it.
2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Talked about Jabri Riddenhauer at the top of your screen.
Been quiet so far, but it won't be for long. He'll find a way to get the ball in his hands.
They're looking to go his way. Pressure up the middle. Gets it out to the receiver in the flat. Gets hit near the line of scrimmage. Bounce off the tackle for a short gain.
A little bit of post-play discussion between both squads, but a great play by McClure on the catch. And a good job by Brown to improvise after not being able to find the other.
And our player spotlight, Jabri Riddenhauer, just mentioning him. Police officer with Charlotte Mecklenburg PD. Played at Campbell University. Has played 9 seasons with the Cobras. He finally got his championship last season with Charlotte, and it's great to see him transition into law enforcement after playing professionally. Didn't work out, and he's found his way back onto the field.
Yeah, he's still having love for the game, doing a great job for community service, but at the same time, still fulfilling his desire to play football.
So the short pass brings up a 2nd and 6. Charlotte looking to get into San Diego territory. That ball was almost intercepted, but the reception near the sideline crosses the 40. Charlotte into San Diego territory, and that's number 14 on the grab, Jamal Livingston.
Oh, great play by Livingston. A nice job keeping his hand on the ball. They brought a lot of heat that time to the boys in black, and able to hold on to that football and make a few yards afterwards.
And you can see right here, great pass on the near sideline. The easiest pass to make. And nice move by 15. Any easy catch is not easy here tonight with this light rain.
No kidding about it. Weather is going to be a factor in here, and already has shown that way in our early game with the safety. So good. 1st and 10 for the Cobras inside Forcer territory.
Big reception brings up a 1st down after the Stedman Graham reception.
Looks like they're going to bring some heat this time, and they do.
Pressure up the middle, looks towards Graham, dumps it off in the flats to the running back, bobbles it a little bit, brings it in, and picks up a nice gain of 5.
Yeah, Brown saw the blitz coming. They were blowing through the A-gaps, and Graham was outside, just fired up to the outside, and he had plenty of room on the boundary and picked up 6 yards.
That ball was brought in by the running back, Jonathan McClure, his 2nd reception on the season, and in the game. This is the season opener for the National Public Safety Football League. Real players, real heroes here today in El Cajon, California. This is the second offensive possession and the first time Charlotte has gotten into San Diego territory with the ball at the 34.
Good-looking drive so far for the Cobras on their second possession.
Jonathan McClure remains in as a single-back bunch formation. To the far side, they love Rittenhauer one-on-one, no safety over the top. That is a tough island to be on. They look towards Rittenhauer. He goes deep. Was there a flag thrown? No, there wasn't. And you feel like they're going to be wanting to take advantage of that one-on-one all game.
Colvert versus Rittenhauer. That's going to be a great matchup all game long.
Chris Calvert with great coverage right there out of the Escondido Police Department.
It's my man near my backyard. Enforcers dialing up pressure early, and they're coming from all angles. They're bringing it from the secondary as well as from the linebacker positions.
They are not allowing Brown a lot of time in the backfield. Well, Brown is used to the pressure out of the Charlotte Fire Department, 11 years with the Cobras. This is kind of the other unique thing about this league is there's no free agency. There's no transfer portal.
Exactly.
You play with one team your whole career.
Right. No contract negotiations, no way of getting traded.
The incomplete pass brings up a 3rd and 6 with 1:26 remaining in the opening quarter.
And here they come again, and there's movement all over the
up
line.
Front. Looks like number 70 right guard Patrick Hewlett, the rookie, moved before the ball was snapped, and that would bring him back 5. Once again, Charlotte working behind the sticks, partner.
I'm kidding. And that's what enforcers like to do. That's why they like to bring the pressure. They try to keep the offensive line a little nervous.
Let's get into a player spotlight. Ace Cortez, the outside linebacker working for the Federal Bureau of Prisons, has played 13 seasons with the Enforcers, has been a part of 3 national championships, and he moved to SD to follow his career, and he's been an Enforcer ever since, partner.
Yeah, I remember calling his games back in the day, which is dating me a bit. But he's been a key player for this team for over a decade.
The false start up front brings it to a 3rd and long. Brown looks right. A lot of time. He'll go deep down the sideline, has a receiver, and brought in nicely by Stedman Graham out of Emory and Henry.
Yeah, good back shoulder throw by Brown, able to get to his receiver, cut underneath the defender, Novick. And now a big play and opportunity here. We'll look at the replay.
Once again, one-on-one on the outside, and Brown took advantage of it.
Fires it downfield. Good position. It was good coverage by Colbert.
Can't do much about it.
And the back shoulder, he just turned around right at the right time in the sideline and made the grab. And now outstanding field position for the Cobras, an opportunity to get in the end zone with 2:06 left to go in the first quarter.
Kevin Novick, one of the better defensive backs for the Enforcers. As mentioned, good coverage. Just a better pitch and grab from Brown to Graham. Graham got the reception to get into San Diego territory. Now with that big grab, gets deep into San Diego territory inside their 15. Brown.
Pressure again.
He's going to roll left. Escapes the pocket. Has a lot of time. Receiver in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Charlotte. To his top receiver, Jabri Rittenhauer on the 13-yard touchdown reception.
We were waiting for him to make an appearance here today. And Rittenhauer's on their top wideout.
Mark Brown doing a great job eluding the pressure from up the middle, rolling left. And he's not a running quarterback. He's a pass-first quarterback and found Rittenhauer in the back of the end zone.
Wide open. Split the safety. Safeties went off to the outside receivers and left that middle of the end zone wide open. And he did a pro move by just waiting.
A great response for the Charlotte offense, partner. After their first possession ended in a safety, they go down the field after the big interception. 7 points off the turnover, the extra point by Kaichin Merchant. And Charlotte, 7, San Diego 2. Be back with you on the other side of the break here on YouTube. guys didn't miss anything. The kickoff was fair caught and a flag was thrown, so we'll see what that is called. But once again, partner, a great response. Brown to Rittenhauer for the 13-yard touchdown.
Yeah, it was a great-looking drive. You were kind of concerned with their opening drive. They had so many issues they were trying to deal with, and all of a sudden they got things smoothed out for their second possession and just moved down the field efficiently. Now it's up to the enforcers now to counter.
So the third offensive possession, and for 3 straight starts at the 40-yard line. Good field position.
Can't knock that. I'll take that every time.
Yeah, and this is a great shot right here on the touchdown. Once again, good job by Brown, eluding the pressure, finding some space, and Rittenhauer wide open in the back of the end zone.
Safeties went to the outside receiver and left that middle of the field wide open.
Jay Gonzalez back onto the field. Matt Dean's in motion. They're going to hand out to Swiatkowski, and he gets tripped up near the line of scrimmage. Nice tackle by linebacker Donovan Hayes.
Who else? The man who's going to be on the mission every single play. We'll be calling his name out a lot. Pick up about 2 on the play, pick up 2nd down and 8.
He's one of the younger guys on the team, played his first season last year with Charlotte and played at UNC Pembroke. Short gain will bring up a 2nd and 8 for the Enforcers. Coming up on a minute to play in this opening quarter. Dean's in motion. The handoff to Swiatkowski again off the right side. Twirls near the line of scrimmage, but is brought down. That front of the Cobras, Samuels, Mims, Lewis, and Shelf, giving the running attack some problems here early.
Yeah, Jackson Cummings coming from his outside linebacker position, making a big stop on that play, forcing the 2nd and 8.
And it's the front doing a good job not allowing the offensive line to get to that second level.
Exactly right. So it's been tough sledding within the tackles for San Diego.
Yeah.
At some point, you're going to have to bust out a little bit and do something a little more unique.
Yeah, they tried that extended sweep.
Yep.
It resulted in a holding call. We'll see if they go back to it. Once again, another 3rd and long for the Enforcers. Gonzalez tried to get them to jump. It looked like they crossed the big number 77, Lewis.
He gets momentum going. It's hard to slow down.
And that will end the first quarter here on YouTube. It's Charlotte 7, San Diego 2. We'll see you at the second quarter.
So this is me. I'm here sharing our story.
I am still standing because I found a reason to keep standing and walking. It starts with my 2 children, and it also continues with the legacy that Billy has now left behind.
Our mission is providing that support, advocacy, and awareness for organ donation.
Check your box and go online. Be an organ donor.
Be a forever hero, donate life is the message we want to get out there.
To date, in 16 months, I have spoken to over 1,500 first responders. I have spoken to the last 3 fire classes at the FDNY Academy. By the end of 2024, I'm hoping to have spoken to over 3,000 first responders. If you want to talk about hearing our story and more that we can all do together, please let me know.
And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you again for having me.
Back with you, second quarter action.
ECAD, Educated Canines Assisting with Disabilities. Our mission is to enable people with disabilities to gain greater independence and mobility through the use of specially educated dogs. Visit ECAD.org to learn more about our Service Dogs program.
Each side with 2 offensive possessions, and the Cobras up early 7-2 to start the second quarter. And the second quarter presented by Billy Moon Foundation. Go to billymoonfoundation.org. And Gonzalez under pressure gets near the sideline but runs out of real estate. A big 3rd down stop once again for the Charlotte Cobras.
Yeah, nice rush by the Cobras, but also great job by the secondary not to give Gonzalez anyone to throw to. And he had no choice to just tuck and run and get whatever he could.
The loss of 2 will bring up a 4th and 9, and Enforcers punt team on to the pitch.
Good job by the Cobra defense. After a big offensive series, they come back with a big stop here.
Back to receive Geis and Merchant for Charlotte. Devin Geis, the rookie out of Auburn, he is electric with the ball in his hands. And back to punt is Carlos Sanchez. Nice kick by Sanchez. Hits at the 35. Big hit by Merchant away from the ball, and the enforcers are not going to like that too much.
A little extracurricular activity here.
Yeah, Merchant with, as I say, partner, especially when you're on special teams, you got to keep your head on a swivel, and Merchant picked one guy out that wasn't.
I think the officials were wise to not call for either side there. I think there's a lot of activity. Yeah. On Your Six Bourbon Whiskey, inspired by everyday heroes like nurses, police officers, teachers, and firefighters who make this country so loved and respected. We keep the military tradition of grabbing a drink to celebrate someone who's got your six. Visit onyour6.com today to purchase your first bottle.
14:01 remaining in the second quarter. This is the third offensive possession for the Charlotte Cobras. Their opening possession resulted in a safety, poor field position. Then they drove down with the first touchdown of the game, and we'll see how they respond with the ball at their own 25.
Yeah, and a great defensive possession on the last one, forcing San Diego to punt it away.
And Mark Brown back onto the field after throwing a 13-yard touchdown to his top receiver, Rittenhauer. Pressure up the middle, goes near side. Receiver falling backwards, but makes a defender miss and has great downfield blocking. Runs out of bounds, a great pitch and grab. Kevin Alford with the big gain, his first of the night.
For a moment, I thought Alford was going to pull back and throw the ball downfield. That was my first impression. They brought 9. You'll see how many people, watch here, how many people they bring. They bring the house, and the perfect play call.
Man to man. It almost was in his benefit to fall backwards with the defender falling to his feet. And Alford with a big gain right there of 19.
Great offensive play. Great play call there to negate
here
the
in the
blitz.
early going, the Cobras, big plays through the pass game right now.
And that's what they like. That's how they operate their offense. You get the ball to your wide receivers and let them eat.
After the 19-yard reception brings up a 1st and 10 from the Cobras 44. Looks like enforcers are going to bring the pressure off the edge. Great job by Brown rolling to his left. Has a receiver, but it goes through his hands. The intended receiver, Devin Geis.
Yeah, that's one he's going to want back. That was great blocking. Picking up the blitz by the halfback.
And let's check out the player spotlight. Kevin Novick, the cornerback, special agent with the DEA, played at U.S. Coast Guard Academy. He's been with the Enforcers for 10 seasons, partner. It's great to see he's been a big fan of the relationships built and supporting charities in the community. And the icing on the cake, 2 national championships. It always makes things feel a little bit better, partner.
Yeah, it's really great about the entire NPSFL. All of them have huge charities they support, and monies that go straight to them. It's creates that community feel and balance here with all these programs.
Incomplete pass brings up a 2nd and 10 for Mark Brown and the Cobras offense. Another bad snap. Brown does a great job in picking it up, but he is brought down in the backfield. A tackle for loss for the San Diego Enforcers.
And I think we're going to get a flag, too, for insult for injury. I think they're going to get a holding call against the Cobras.
They're going to decline the penalty after the tackle for loss, sack in the backfield. That's going to bring up another 3rd and long for Charlotte.
You can see by the snap here, we had a rough time getting the ball back to Brown. Brown did a good job of trying to make something out of nothing, but then just launched to the ground by an enforcer outside linebacker. Brings up 3rd down and 11 for the Cobras.
And that was great pursuit on the weak side of the play. I had a 35, but I don't have a 35 on the roster.
Nope,
that's never fun.
Let's come up from the JV ranks.
But yeah, well, and we're going to see a lot of that with a lot of guys missing in action
Exactly.
due to duty.
Exactly.
So the sack brings up a 3rd and 12 with 13. Actually, scratch that. 12-12 remaining. The clock on the screen is a little off by a minute. The long throw up the seam. Intended receiver to Rittenhauer, just too high for number 1.
I liked how they set that up defensively. They had a safety on top of Rittenhauer along with a corner, and they brought the corner blitz. And the safety just took him one-on-one, and just miscommunication between Brown and his wideout. And that'll bring up 4th down in a punting situation for the Cobras.
And once again, we apologize for the clock on the screen. We're having some difficulties, but we're back at it. 12:05 remaining after the incomplete pass. Merchant back on the punt for Charlotte. Back to receive for the Enforcers is Archer, his heels at his own 23.
And the rain coming down a little bit harder now here in El Cajon.
It's about the hardest we've had it here so far. Nice punt by Merchant. Kicks it away from Archer, kind of bounces back to Archer. Decides not to pick it up wisely, and the Cobras
13.
will down it inside the 13. 11:53 remaining in the second quarter. Charlotte 7, San Diego 2.
Our mission is providing that support, advocacy, and awareness for organ donation. Be a forever hero, donate life is the message we want to get out there.
As an FDNY firefighter, he was a hero in life. As an organ donor, Billy Moon, also a hero in death.
FDNY firefighter Billy Moon's heart was successfully transplanted into 63-year-old Richard Grell last December.
And as his widow, Christina, processed her heartbreak and her grief, she fulfilled a promise that was made to her husband and donated his organs so others could live. 5 lives were saved in the process.
There are around 103,000 people waiting for a transplant across the country. One person can save 8 lives and improve up to 75 more.
That was the Billy Moon Foundation. This second quarter presented by Billy Moon Foundation. You can go to billymoonfoundation.org. 11:25 and counting here in the second quarter. The Enforcers had a run up the middle by Swatkowski, and a short game bringing up a 2nd and 8. Another handoff up the gut, and once again that front of the Cobras, Cohen, Mims, and Lewis not allowing big runs up the middle.
No, Hayes all over it there, as well as Colin Hayes as well, helping him out on the stop. No gain, brings up 2nd down and 8.
It was Lewis first to the ball and Colin Hayes cleaning up the action for no gain, bringing up a 3rd and long. A lot of 3rd and longs for the Enforcer here in the first half, partner.
Yeah, and that is not their forte, is 3rd and long. This is something, a ball control offense, so they're going to have to put the ball in the air here and expect some pressure from the front 7 of the Cobras.
Single safety, that would be Merchant. 2 receivers to the right of Gonzalez. Double-double formation. Gonzalez rolls right, looks downfield. He'll let it go, and thankfully overthrew the defensive back because that was going to be another interception for the Cobras secondary. Jamal Livingston was in great position on that one.
Yeah, 3 white jerseys right around that football, and there was heavy pressure coming from Gonzalez's left. Had to get rid of that football quickly. Falls incomplete, and just like that, Enforcers forced to punt, standing in close to their own end zone.
We've seen back-to-back 3rd and longs, partner, resulting in Gonzalez having to roll right and almost throw it away because of the pressure.
Yeah, 3rd and long, again, is difficult for the Enforcers. It's not a big passing team, and they have – and if Cobras can keep putting him in those long situations, it's going to be a long evening for San Diego.
Merchant back to receive along with Geis. Merchant with his heels at the Enforcers 43 and Geis near midfield. Gonzalez with the kick. Merchant's going to let it bounce in front.
Wow, what a bounce that took.
And it gets a fortuitous bounce for the Enforcers. It will roll all the way to Charlotte's 35. And an extra 15, 20 yards.
Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Since 9/11, we've been helping America's heroes by providing mortgage-free homes to Gold Star and fallen first responder families. We're also committed to eradicating veteran homelessness and helping America to never forget September 11th, 2001. Visit T2T.org for more information or to make your donation today.
This is the opening game to the National Public Safety Football League. This is the only one happening in week 1, so all eyes are on this. And limited games means this game has even more impact on who makes it to the championship. And a big tackle near the line of scrimmage. The Enforcers Another TFL for that front.
Yeah, McClure just took the – and again, a little bit of a fisticuffs going on in the field and flags flying everywhere. Not a lot of love lost between these two programs.
We see right here on this instant replay.
Watch the penetration there. They did an outstanding job from the right side of the defensive front.
Andrew Funk on the tackle.
He's been busy tonight. He's had a few big stops here today.
Andrew Funk, the Bulldog out of Fresno State.
Oh, I get that. I got that. The Bulldog out of – oh, got it. All right.
SDPD. all good guys up front wear 99, right, partner?
I agree. Both sides have outstanding players. Cohen Mims, big man, playing on the front line for defensive front for Cobras.
Unfortunately for San Diego fans, they had a penalty fortuitous for Charlotte fans as they pick up a first down after the flag.
Big break for Charlotte here after a great defensive effort by Funk and the Enforcers. Creates a first down near midfield.
The penalty will bring the ball to the Charlotte 49. 1st and 10, 9:35 and counting here in the first half. Mark Brown with a passing touchdown here tonight already. He's going to get the ball out of his hands quickly to Devin Geis in the open field. Cuts back, makes two defenders miss, gets upfield inside the 45, and he'll fall forward for a gain of 8. Once again, the Cobras getting the ball out of Brown's hands quickly and letting the receivers eat.
And that's what Coach Davis said the entire time. That is our offense. We get the ball out fast, let our receivers do the work, let them run with it, and they've got a lot of talent at their wideout positions.
Slot receiver, the rookie out of Auburn University, Devin Geis, with his second grab on the night, brings up a 2nd and short. You know, we've seen the Enforcers run the ball more. The extension of the run is that short passing game for Charlotte.
Absolutely correct.
Jonathan McClure remains in as a single back. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Geis is your slot receiver at the bottom of your screen.
Blitz coming from
Enforcers
showing
bringing extra bodies. They bring 5. Brown rolls right, eludes the pressure, is tracked down by Funk, and is brought down by Funk. The sack by number 99. A huge loss on 2nd down.
No one was fooled on the left side of the Enforcer defense, and here comes the pressure from both sides, and Funk
Just
getting by his defender.
2 defenders.
Just gets by his offensive lineman and just sends Brown up in over his head.
And the big sack will bring the ball back into Charlotte territory for a 3rd and 12.
You said number 99. That's the big number here today, and Funk has been outstanding so far in this first half.
7:47 and counting here in the first half. This is the National Public Safety Football League. Real players, real heroes. Brown has an uphill climb on this 3rd and 12. Brown looks downfield, has some time, one-on-one over the top, and that ball's deflected and knocked down. Great play by the secondary of the Enforcers. Pass intended for Kevin Alford out of UNC Westland.
Yeah, there was just no way he was going to come up with that football, as we see here on the replay. Good pressure, picked up, stays in the pocket, but he threw it right into coverage. He was just hoping his receiver would get a 50-50 ball out of it, and a great job pass breakup by the Enforcers, bringing up 4th down in a punting situation for the Cobras.
Mitchell on the PBU. They almost had that side bracketed with Calvert under and Mitchell over the top. Well defended by the Enforcers. Brings up a 4th down after the incompletion. Still consistent rain. It's a light rain. And a high booming kick. Archer lets it bounce. And once again, the good offensive field position resulting in tough field position for the Enforcers. The positions have switched. 7:05 remaining. Charlotte 7, San Diego 2 here in the second quarter. back with you. Second quarter National Public Safety Football League. Real football, real heroes. Charlotte up 7-2. San Diego back with the ball at their own 17-yard line. Receiver in motion. Jay Gonzalez looks left, goes deep, one-on-one. The high point brings it down at the 40, and the biggest play through the air to his top receiver, Nate Archer.
Archer, a big receiver, almost tight end size actually, with the speed of a wideout. Great throw, great protection by the line of the enforcers. He just goes up high above the defender. Nothing the defender can do there when you got a player that big on a pass that high. So
it shows what Gonzalez can do with a clean pocket, right? He's been under pressure majority of this game.
yeah, I'm looking at 119 every time I get the football to throw. I'm looking at that target every time.
6:45 and counting here in the first half.
Here they come.
Gonzalez will hand it off to Swikowski, and he falls forward for a short gain. It's not a lot, but they're staying in front of the chains, partner.
And that's exactly what one of the keys of the game is, keeping the chains moving and not going backwards. Good job that time running away from the blitz and picking up 3 yards.
And the tackle by number 20 from the Cobras.
Don't have him on my roster, sir. But you gave him credit, gave him the number.
6:05 and counting here in the first half. San Diego looking to get some points here on offense. And the sweep to the right side of the field. And the stiff arm, but the great open field tackle right there.
Donovan Hayes, sideline to sideline. As fast as any running back on the field on the jet sweep. And you'll see they run the jet sweep pretty effectively. The blocking looks good right now.
Sheds that blocker.
Absolutely. He had a tunnel, but Hayes just cuts right through, breaks his blocker, and blows up the play.
You always told us that outside linebacker to attack the outside shoulder, and he did right there to make that open field tackle.
Textbook.
Tackle for loss will bring up another 3rd and long for the Enforcers. It's becoming too comfortable for San Diego on offense in these 3rd and long, partner.
Yeah, too many times, and this is not a position they like to be in.
One of the reasons why they haven't scored any points on offense. Looking to convert on their first 3rd down of the night. We're going to have a reverse. The running back sheds the tackle, unable to get it to the reverse guy. And it's because of the play up front by the Cobras. Too much penetration.
That's a risky play on 3rd and 9 when you know that the Cobras have got 9 men in the box. And they just broke through the offensive line and made a big play with a 2-yard loss. And now, once again, Forcers set to punt it away. Another empty possession for San Diego.
After back-to-back losses, it will bring up a 4th and 11 with 4:25 and counting here in the first half. Once again, the clock on the graphic is a little different from the clock here on the field. Gonzalez back to kick once again. Merchant and Geis back to receive. This ball is going to be kicked right to Geis, but he's going to let it drop, fall, and allow Geis to pick it up. Geis sheds one defender. High steps another. Splits 2 and a nice 15-yard return by Devin Geis, the rookie. Actually, this is Stedman this time on the return.
That should have been no return there. It was a great footwork and movement once he picks up this football. I thought he was just going to let it die, but he said, no, I'm going to pick this one up. Gets by one defender, cuts through another, dances through the line, splits another, and
very shifty.
15-yard. Oh, he's tough to bring down.
And that was Devin Geis. They say stick to your intuition. You're usually right the first time, and I will stick with that moving forward. 3:58 remaining in the first half. Once again, good field position for the Cobras. That field position has definitely shifted in this second quarter. We'll see if Charlotte can take advantage of it.
And see if they open it up a little bit with under 4 minutes to play until halftime.
Almost around that time where they'd almost like to see it get under 1 minute. They're going to go deep over the middle, diving for the ball and falls through his hands. Great defensive effort by the secondary, number 27 from the Cobras.
That's Garcia. And plenty of time to throw, and it was a good throw, but he threw it in between coverage. And great pass break up by Garcia. But it wasn't a bad throw by Brown. Trying to split the defenders.
Ball was intended for Geis. Geis and Garcia. So just how I was saying, possibly Charlotte looking to kill some clock. We have a timeout on the field. 3:52 remaining in the first half. It's Charlotte.
My mom was the most amazing person in my life.
I would definitely consider my mom as a hero.
I love and miss my mom very much.
The worst day of my life was the day that my mother was murdered on July 5th, 2017. That same night in the hospital, when my brother and sister asked me who was going to take care of them, after I had to break the horribly tragic news that our mother had been murdered, I said, I will take care of you.
There are over 1,000 families that need our help. Tunnel to Towers is honoring those heroes that risked their lives by providing them with mortgage-free homes.
First responders are human too. They have fears and families that they need to come home to. For just $11 a month, you can give back to these heroes who gave up so much for you and ensure that their families will always have a home.
Please donate $11 a month by visiting tunneltotowers.org or calling 1-844-BRAVEST. Thank you.
Back with you, first half action. Charlotte back with the ball at their own 38. Brown hands it off to McClure. Lowers his shoulder, but not much there. Both defenses doing a really good job slowing the running game down.
Yeah, it's been tough sledding for both teams between the tackles. And it's the team that's really trying to open up the passing game, especially in the short passing game, that's drawing the most advantage here.
The short gain will bring up a 3rd and long. Keeps the clock moving with 3:26 counting here in the first half. Mike Brown with a passing touchdown in the first quarter to Jabri Rittenhauer from 13 yards out. And really, it's been the offense of Charlotte for all 9 points here today.
It has been. After you think about it, absolutely right. And the defense of the Cobras done a good job by really shutting out the Enforcer offense so far.
3rd and long. Brown fakes a handoff. Pressure up the middle, and Brown's brought down in the backfield.
They really thought play action was going to work and fool Enforcers that time, and it did not.
Jacob Mazenga out of Coronado Fire Department with the big sack on 3rd down.
That's a Bazenga for shot right through the gap. Nobody picked him up, and he just puts Brown to the ground, bringing up a 4th down, and now an opportunity for the Enforcers with 2:35 to play until halftime. They'll get the football back.
Charlotte 7, San Diego 2.
So how many saw Forrest Gump? Well, I'm Gary Sinise. I play Lieutenant Dan.
Hello, I'm Gary Sinise, and while you may recognize me from movies or television, my life's mission has been to honor and support our nation's veterans, servicemen and women, first responders, our most severely wounded heroes, the families of our fallen, and those suffering from the invisible wounds of war.
I appreciate everything that you do for our troops.
Thank you for what you do for these veterans.
What you do for the soldiers, God bless you.
I lost my dad.
I know, and we want to show you that we don't forget your dad.
It's meaningful.
Yeah.
Because I didn't expect any of this, I was just happy to be alive. So when everyone showed their love and support, it's overwhelming.
Please join me to help us help our defenders who keep us safe and our communities strong. Donate today at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
The ball's loose on the punt and scooped up by the Enforcers. The ball went through Nate Archer's hands. Didn't have much to work with. And in a situation where the offense isn't doing too well, Special Teams tries to pick it up. And we see the instant replay right here.
Yeah. And then, once again, another benefactor of this rain. Everybody, the ball's like a greased pig out here. Everybody jumping on it. Unfortunately, Enforcers were able to corral the football and keep possession.
After the big 18-yard sack by Mazenga, the Enforcers get the ball back with 2:22 remaining in the first half. They most desperately need some points to kind of gain some momentum heading into the second half.
Even if it's a field goal, even 3 points at this point in time would be good, but this offense has yet to put anything on the board so far.
Enforcers got into Charlotte territory on their second offensive possession, haven't been there since. This is Gonzalez, looks left, rolls that way, has a receiver downfield. And that ball's brought in. Was he touched?
I don't think he was touched.
No, he wasn't. He stays on his feet.
And he better move,
20,
move because
10,
you got a man right behind
5. Touchdown Enforcers. Matt Deans from SDPD with the touchdown grab.
Let's see what happens back here. They're still having some conversation near midfield. Deans running for his life after the catch as he was in hot pursuit by Merchant. And we'll see what the officials say if this may be coming back.
Well, if I remember correctly, I heard something about this being college rules.
Yeah, college rules.
So, I mean, if he went down to the ground and caught the ball, but great job by him in keeping the play moving if you don't hear any whistles,
exactly right. And he did exactly what you're supposed to do. But I think this one's coming back near midfield. It'll be just inside Cobra territory, 1st and 10. But a big play anyway.
Big 18-yard reception to Means from Gonzalez. San Diego's starting to open it up a bit in the passing game.
And that's what they need here is 2 minutes, and we have a timeout on the field.
And that will bring us to the 2-minute warning. Yep. We'll take a quick break. See you on the other side.
If you've been injured on the job, first notify your employer, seek immediate medical attention, and then call me at 516-280-4033. We act aggressively to litigate your matter's conclusion, and we keep you fully informed throughout the litigation process. I'm here to fight for you.
FundTheFirst.com is the #1 trusted and free fundraising platform for those who serve their families and their friends. Fund the First is in the business of supporting first responders, military, and medical professionals. Visit FundTheFirst.com today to launch your fundraiser.
This is the season opener for the National Public Safety Football League. Real football, real heroes, all the way from fire department to San Diego department to
sheriff, police, fire,
DOJ,
yes, ICE. Border Patrol, a little bit of everything.
The jails, justice system. Enforcers get back into Charlotte territory. Ball lies at the Cobras 49. Gonzalez with a big reception to Matt Deans. Gonzalez, pressure up the middle, keeps his feet, and then eventually goes down. A huge sack by number 99 up front. Once again, it's a Mizaiah Cohen-Mims.
I think Cohen-Mims and Andrew Funk are going back-to-back to see who can get the most sacks and most plays today. That was 3 men going through 5 blockers. It was a big penetration and a loss of about 7 on the play.
The loss of 8 brings up a 2nd and long, 1:30 and counting, and Gonzalez is going to be okay with handing the ball off. Tries to get in front of the running back for the lead block and decides otherwise. Better not to do that. Still have a full second half to play. It'll be interesting to see if the Cobras call a timeout, and it doesn't look like they are with 1:11 counting.
Yeah, if I'm a coach, I don't want my quarterback lead blocking my running back, to be honest with you. And I think they're going to let this clock run down. We're close to the 1-minute mark here.
Short gain. Gets the ball back to the Enforcers 49 to bring up a 3rd and 12. Gonzalez picks up a nice block, will go deep. 1-on-2. Ball's deflected up in the air. Nice defense on the far side of the field by Jamal Livingston and crew.
And Gonzalez ends up on his wallet after a big rush on the play. We'll see here. Good pressure from the left side. And we're not going to show it here, but a good pass breakup in the secondary by Merchant.
Yeah, it looked like actually number 15, Stedman Graham, on the far side of the field. Incomplete pass will bring up a 4th down. Clock stops at 43 seconds.
Cobra defense has been nails here so far this evening, not allowing any enforcer points in the first half.
And we have a timeout on the field.
New York Firefighters Heart and Lung Institute is a medical center for firefighters, designed by firefighters. As a leading provider of advanced medical screenings, we take pride in offering the best healthcare experience for firefighters and first responders. Since 2002, the New York Firefighters Heart and Lung Institute has been dedicated to screening, diagnosing, and treating first responders and their families each and every day. We provide a broad range of testing and medical care, including cardiac and pulmonary testing, as well as educational seminars focused on firefighter safety throughout the USA and Canada. We are proud to have recently entered into a partnership with the Uniformed Firefighters Association to encourage all firefighters to come in and get tested. New York State awarded a grant to the UFA for testing and cancer screening, and they have partnered with the New York Firefighters Heart and Lung Institute to provide certain services at no cost to the individual. Check out fdnyheart.com or call 516-441-7614 to schedule an individual or group firehouse visit today.
And the end-over-end kick from Sanchez. Ball bounces at the 25, picks up a couple more yards, and the clock will stop with 34 seconds remaining here in the first half. With the Cobras up 7-2, partner, you think they'll be okay with this lead heading into the half?
I think they absolutely will, especially under these weather conditions here today. Maybe take a knee or just make a run up the middle and head off to the locker room at halftime and talk about adjustments.
This is the season opener for the National Public Safety Football League between the defending champs, the Charlotte Cobras, and the 2023 national champions, the San Diego Enforcers. There was a reason why, ladies and gentlemen, that this game was selected to open up the season. Two quality teams going at it here today in El Cajon, California. Mark Brown has a passing touchdown, 13 yards to Jabri Rittenhauer, who has a few grabs. And Charlotte's going to go ahead and open it up with a pass. The intended receiver to Kevin Alford.
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise there, but maybe that's good to keep Enforcers defense on their toes.
Well, it's good to see Brown back up after that big sack.
He took a hit. Took a big hit.
Looks like he's moving around okay.
So we'll see if they, at this point, if they just decide to run it out or if they put the ball back in the air.
And come out with McClure in the backfield. The rookie running back out of East Carolina University. Two receivers to the left, two to the right for Brown. Enforcers bring the house.
Yeah.
And McClure, not much running room up the middle. And the Enforcers are going to call timeout, partner. They're going to force their hand.
25 seconds left. They had a big wall of black in the middle of the field and good defensive stop, loss of about 1.5 yards. Bring up 3rd and 11. Yeah, interesting to get a timeout here. They can hope and they get the football back.
Once again, this second quarter presented by Billy Moon Foundation, billymoonfoundation.org. And that's one of the reasons why it was a bit surprising for Charlotte to open up with the pass. It almost played in the hands of the Enforcers defensively.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. They decided to go that route. I figured they would just go and do a run, go in the locker room, talk about it. But opportunity here for the Enforcers. But the Enforcer offense has not been very effective here so far this evening.
It's been some small glimpses with big plays downfield, but it hasn't been consistent.
I'll tell you, head coach Charlie Davis of the Cobras kind of read the tea leaves in this game beforehand, saying they'll come up with a big play on occasion, but they're pretty much a well-controlled offense. It's our job to be patient, hitting on one of their keys of the game.
Charlotte had that big interception on the far side of the field, which led to the touchdown. Before that, San Diego had all the momentum.
That one big defensive play changed it all. And the Cobras have been, defensively, they have been stalwart, no doubt about it. Both offenses have struggled here and there, but of course you have a weather to contend with, and it's the first game of the season, so a lot of things to work out.
And even though it's not raining hard, most players will say it's the light rain that really messes with the ball. And it's been consistent throughout. McClure will get the handoff, shakes one tackle, but the linebackers of Cortez, Jimenez, Bryant, and Pellegrini there to bring him down.
Another timeout, 19 seconds, and Enforcers are going to force their hand and get the Cobras to punt.
Well, and that's one of the ways they got that safety, right? They made the Cobras punt with the heels in the back of the end zone after a tough snap, and with the rain still coming down just a bit, let's say a light drizzle, the snaps are that much more difficult.
Absolutely, and just getting the ball in your hands off the snap is difficult as well. But what are the Enforcers going to do here with 19 seconds in their pocket?
Nate Archer back to receive. He's standing at midfield Merchant back to kick for Charlotte. Nice snap. Merchant gets it off. Nice high spiraling kick, one of his best of the game.
Oh, did that take a Cobra bounce?
And great job on the special teams by Charlotte. And the ball will roll out at the San Diego 28, 11 seconds remaining in the first half.
Well, I think that punt kind of killed the enforcer's idea of maybe getting the ball in a short field.
Well, I think they were mostly going for a possible miss snap. Other than that, because of the inability to really put a consistent drive together, and obviously time is not in their favor, the last thing they want to do is try to drive down and be down by more than one possession. I think San Diego, with the ineffectiveness on the offense, still okay being down 5 points.
No, I think so. I think they should be kind of happy about it at this point in time. They'll make their adjustments at the half, and we'll expect to see the offense a little bit different in the second half of play. Look what we got going on here.
We got, once again, a stack formation on the far side of the field, and we have one-on-one coverage at the bottom of your screen. Empty backfield for Gonzalez. Gonzalez near side. Bunch of big men in front leading blocks. And a nice gain, nice pitch and grab for the Enforcers. Clock still rolling. And it looks like that will do it. A conservative play. Getting the ball out of Gonzalez's hands, but that will end a first half, partner.
No, I like that. I like that play call. Almost a reverse tunnel screen to the weak side. And he got the blocking to give him that tunnel. Yeah, gave him an opportunity for a big play. Didn't make it, but got some good yards.
So before we head to the half, it was San Diego started with the safety, had all the momentum, and Charlotte, nice response on that second offensive possession, resulting in a touchdown. They're up 7-2.
Right. No, again, looks good. Again, defense has been the call of the day here so far in these conditions. A little wet on the field, but we'll see what the Enforcers come up with offensively to dial up some possible scoring. They're going to need to get back in this ball game. But, yeah, like you said, partner, 7-2. We only down by 5.
And the halftime presented by Tunnel to Towers Foundation, T2T.org. We're going to take a quick break as well. Catch you in about 15 minutes. See you on the other side of the break. Charlotte 7, San Diego 2.
Ground Zero is the burial place for my brother. Yet I think that not everybody can go to New York and to Ground Zero and visit the memorial there. So we felt it was vitally important, once again, that we carry the message that we never forget. And one way that you never forget is that if you learn what happened that day, and a lot of young kids don't even know. They hear about September 11th. A lot of them were maybe 10 years old. Now they're 22 years old. A lot of them weren't even born. And I think that one of the most important things as parents, if parents are listening, and the children, is that that you bring them here and you tell them the story. Tell them where you were on September 11, 2001, and what an impact it had in your life. It changed the world. That day has changed the world. It's not the same world it was on September 10, 2001. And I think that you have to tell why and what happened that day. Not just because Stephen died, because so many have died that day. And that, you know, and so much of our military has sacrificed so much for us before that, but most certainly ever since. I think this statement really sums up our military and our great first responders. For those I love, I will sacrifice. And this is Kyle Hockenberry, and Kyle is, his house is under construction right now. And this program here, which is Building for America's Bravest, which is what we spend most of our energy on right now. You know, that and our Never Forget Mobile exhibit here, is that you know, we have to raise a lot of money because our men and women have paid a big price for you know, protecting us here back here in the States, and so many of them coming back, triple, quadruple amputees. So many of are paralyzed, and we're proud to say that we are committed to making sure that every one of them get a house. And it's been a journey the last 12 years. We've met some of the best Americans around the country. It's most certainly, once again, our men and women who serve, but besides that, just everyday Americans who have come together to help our cause, to make sure we never forget and we honor the sacrifice.
This is a very interesting piece, and to me it's the most poignant piece in the exhibit. Welded in New York for the 10th anniversary, was presented to 3 Truck, and 3 Truck was their leader that day was Captain Patrick Brown, who in his 24 years of service in the FDNY had received 21 medals for heroism. They had gotten above the 40th floor at that point, he and his men, and they heard and saw what was going on, and they were describing over the radio the injuries that were coming down so that the command post and lobby be ready for it. And the very last transmission that they were able to put out was, "This is 3 truck, and we're still heading up." And then the building fell on them. So that was their last transmission. That's what I love. Is they cut out crucifixes, one for each family, one for each member, fire department member who died that day, to give to their family members on the 10th anniversary. So each family member of a fireman from 3 truck has this piece of steel as a memento.
I think it's pretty amazing, especially for young kids that weren't there, to see the way our country was able to rally together in a situation like this. It's pretty incredible to bring it home.
It puts shivers up my back, and it's a great remembrance of what we should never let happen again to our great country.
I would encourage anybody who has an opportunity to come down and visit this. It's really something that will bring back a lot of memories if you were involved on that day. And it's good for Americans to see all the things that we've gone through, and we're still here today.
Oh, I think I would encourage people to, tour the museum. It's not a long walk through, but it brings back the memories, and it makes you feel like you're an American. And I think people should just go to reflect, and again, how lucky we are to live in this country.
Well, I think just taking 15, 20 minutes before the start of the game right here, where you got 70, 80,000 fans, means a lot. I think it puts the whole day in a proper perspective by kind of going through this first and understanding that the freedoms we have to watch football games are largely built on the shoulders of the gentlemen and soldiers that have paid the sacrifice in combat and in New York City.
At the time, he was only 2 when it happened, so he has no idea about what has happened. And it just brings a lot of memories back. That day is where you were at when it happened. This is a good thing.
I'm glad to see this exhibit. There can't be enough of this. We need to see more of it and remind people what happened and why we are a nation of free people.
We're talking about the people who have put their lives on the line for this great country, the people who have lost and paid the greatest price for our freedom, for guys like me to be able to go sing songs about whatever I want to sing about every single night. And we're talking about an organization that helps support families and support the people that are running into the danger that the rest of us are running away from. And that's the kind of people I want to be beside. Those are the real heroes, man. I'm just a big fat guy with a guitar. Hey, y'all, this is Jelly Roll, and I am asking you to give $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to honoring the dignity of the American service member and is committed to helping end homelessness amongst the veteran community and ensure no veteran is left behind. Providing a safe and dignified home is an imperative part of helping veterans who are homeless reclaim their lives. Donate $11 a month by calling 1-844-BRAVEST or visit T2T.org.
Tom Olkers served others.
He was an incredible husband, father, NYPD officer, and FDNY firefighter.
At age 26, Tom worked at Ground Zero in the rescue and recovery efforts following the attacks of 9/11.
Throughout his courageous battle against World Trade Center cancer, Tom deeply appreciated the care provided for him and his family, including the FDNY's Family Assistance Unit.
One of the TO Foundation's first initiatives is to purchase a family assistance van to help ease the burden for other firefighters and their families when facing an illness.
Together, we will honor Tom by helping first responders and their families in their hour of need. Please visit tofamilyfoundation.org today.
I'm actor Eric Winter. Now, playing a cop on TV and tracking bad guys is fun and games, but now I understand the challenges facing real first responders. That's why I'm asking you to support the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. For more than 2 decades, Tunnel to Towers has been supporting America's greatest heroes. The foundation is continuing to pay off mortgages for fallen first responders and Gold Star families with young children. They're also building mortgage-free smart homes for catastrophically injured veterans. Now T2T is committing itself to eradicating veteran homelessness. please donate $11 a month to support these efforts by going to t2t.org or calling 1-844-RAPIST. Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Let us do good.
For over 2 decades, Rigging NYC Contractors, Inc. has been the go-to provider of rigging services in New York City. Specializing in construction and industrial rigging, as well as machinery moving, we are dedicated to delivering safe and timely solutions. Our team consists of licensed master riggers, operating engineers, Teamster drivers, steam fitters, and iron workers. No matter the industrial or construction application, we have the lifting solution for you. In addition to rigging services, we offer specialized trucking services to handle equipment and materials. Our fleet of tractor trailers and experienced drivers make us the premier choice for New York trucking, including oversized freight and heavy loads. When it comes to rigging, trust the experts, the licensed master riggers at Rigging NYC Contractors. Contact us today for more information and let us make your next project a resounding success.
Dave Portnoy is known as the founder of Barstool Sports and is known for his sharp commentary and down-to-earth one-bite pizza reviews. Dave created the Barstool Fund during COVID and raised $50 million to help small businesses stay afloat.
What worked with the Barstool Fund? They knew they were giving us money, and the money was going right to the businesses they want to give the money to.
People knew where the money is going, and we're 95.1% of every dollar that is raised goes to our great heroes.
Yeah, and that's a huge part. I did all the research. I've known about you guys.
I want to hear what you rate the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
Right, which it's always high pressure when I'm sitting right next to the guy. It's like, but we'll give it 10, even though I don't generally give 10s. That's a rookie score. But we'll give it 10. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't a 10.
You know, we ask for $11 a month.
$11, you have full pie. You're good to go. You skip one pie.
You skip one pie and you help a hero and the family that are left behind. So let's do good together.
Let's do it.
Hey, Frank, how you doing?
Andy Pettitte is one of America's greatest pitchers that has played for the New York Yankees. He has never forgotten what happened on September 11th.
The grief I know that you and your family had to go through, but what you've turned that tragedy into really a triumph.
What we do for catastrophically injured service members, Gold Star families, giving them mortgage-free homes.
The 100-home village that y'all are going to build down in Tampa, it's just amazing.
They go and protect us overseas. They give their lives. We better take care of their families that are left behind.
I just kept seeing those commercials over and over, and it gets to you, right? I mean, if you're an American, I really just felt, you know, in my heart, just like, man, this is something I wanted to find out more about and look into, and then, of course, just be involved. The Bible tells us that when we restore others, that ourselves will be restored.
Join me in supporting our nation's heroes and their families. It only takes $11 a month.
Go to t2t.org.
We're here today right outside Colorado Springs to welcome home DT and his family here in the beautiful smart home that the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has just completed.
I got hurt December 2005 in Afghanistan, and that day we're out on a mission and I got hit by an IED while I was in my truck. Today we're in my home that Tunnel to Towers built for me. A smart home is someone that's disabled like myself. It kind of makes their lives a little easier. The thought that I don't have to worry about paying a mortgage.
We're asking all Americans to donate $11 a month. This is where your money's going, and this is what we're doing with it.
You know, some of us came back, some of us didn't. And thank God for organizations like Tunnel Towers. They're able to be there to help us when we need it.
Determine if you have a valid personal injury claim. First, you need an injury. Then you have to determine if someone else was negligent. If there's a link between that negligence and your injury, you've got a strong case and you can proceed.
Koval and Associates. We fight for you.
It's the National Public Safety Football League season opener here in El Cajon, California. Still a light drizzle, a defensive battle partner as Charlotte is with a 5-point lead, 7-2 over San Diego.
Yeah, it really has been a defensive battle between both these teams. Cobras have just completely shut out the offense of the Enforcers. Enforcer offense, a little predictable, not the big play offense we're looking for here, but they need to just make some changes at halftime, make some adjustments, open the offense up a little bit more, and try to get through this Cobra great wall.
It doesn't help that it's been consistent rain throughout, though.
You're absolutely correct there. It's been slick, and then we've seen it with snaps and with trying to get hold of the football and some exchanges. It's been some problems there, but again, you got to play. Both teams got to play with the rain.
This halftime presented by Tunnel to Towers Foundation. TC Wardell, Bo Fertig on the call. Let's get into the top plays of the first half as we go through some instant replays. This is the only touchdown of the first half. Brown to Rittenhauer.
Yeah, it was great play. Great blocking. Smart move by Brown, rolling to his left where there was no pressure. Safeties got split, taking on the outside receivers. Score easy.
And we talked about defenses. That front of the Enforcers have been enforcing themselves.
Yeah, they are dialing up blitzes, and they're playing good work in the secondary as well. So it's making it tough for the Cobras offense to get moving.
And we saw this. This almost turned the other way for Charlotte.
Once again, hazards of rain, and anything could happen. Unfortunately, they came up with that. Fortunately, this was an interesting play.
Yeah.
Going with thinking it was a pro game. Made a nice catch, touched down on his knee, but kept going. Didn't hear a whistle. Kept going to the end zone, but eventually brought back to midfield.
Once again, inside the booth, TC Wardell, Bo Fertig. We're about 5.5 minutes away from the second half. What do both sides need to do to get the offense going a little bit?
Well, I think with regard to the Enforcers, they need to open up the offense a little bit more. They need to go for more of the short passing game. We're probably not going to see a lot of long passes on a day like this. And then back to the keys to the game. Go control the D-line. Well, that's pretty much been done here. Make big plays on defense. Both teams have actually been doing that here so far. Keeping their offense off the field. Again, that goes back to the first of keeping big plays on defense. And control field position. So far, I would say both teams are kind of doing that right now, but no one's getting in the ball in the end zone. We're playing a lot of football between the 20s.
And the keys to victory for Charlotte.
Well, winning the turnover battle. They did come up with an interception, so that was huge. Play discipline. They've been doing that defensively. And play fast. There's no question about it. Their speed has caused the Enforcers some issues. Control the tempo. I'd say they've done that so far.
Well, winning the turnover battle, they got that touchdown off that interception, 7 points off the turnover. It gave them their best field position through the first half. And it seems like that field position game really helped Charlotte in that second quarter.
Yeah, I wouldn't change too much if I was a Cobras offensive coordinator. I think they're doing a good job. You've just got to get ball into the hands of your playmakers and like Rittenauer and let the wide receivers do their job. Brown's done a good job when he's not under pressure, getting the ball to his receivers.
We could say the same for Gonzalez, but he was under pressure a lot as well in that first half.
Yeah, they're dialing up a lot of blitzes. And actually, both sides are. And I love the defensive coordinators here just saying, look, we're just coming at you. We're coming with 6, 7 players, maybe sometimes 8, to make this a lot of fun to watch. But there's going to be a break here. Something's going to happen. It's going to be a big mistake or a big play that's going to turn the tide on this ball game.
Well, we saw 2 turnovers turn into points, so that might be it as well. And really, that opening drive was kind of a snippet of what the first half was for the Enforcers, even though it might be a 4th and short. We're going to play that field position game.
Right, and they've got to get out of those 3rd and long situations. Yeah. They've been caught in that 3 or 4 times in the first half. Their offense is not geared to long plays like that. And they've had to force themselves to punt the ball a number of times to the Cobras.
Well, we saw a lot of 3rd and longs for Charlotte as well. And when we see a lot of 3rd and longs, that often leads into turnovers as well. Even though we've seen 1 turnover by each side, none of them resulting from those 3rd and longs.
No, you're right. 3rd and long, you're looking for the big play, and that's where issues can pop up.
And we're going to check our player spotlight. We talked about the big-time receiver, Jabri Rittenauer, with that 13-yard touchdown. He's been a big impact player on the offensive side.
Yeah, and we talked about it in pregame about Rittenauer kind of being that Deebo Samuel kind of player who can do a little bit of everything in the slot from the outside and even run the ball if necessary.
He's been a police officer with Charlotte-Mecklenburg PD for quite some time now, has played 9 seasons with the Cobras, played at Campbell University, and he said it was a long time coming, but he finally won his first football championship with the Cobras last season in Division II. And as mentioned before, it's great to see him transition into law enforcement. After playing professionally, it didn't work, and usually what you're really passionate about will find you on the back end, and that's what's happening here today for Rittenhour.
And that's what I love about this league is we've got men with a passion. You played ball in high school and college, even some in the professional levels. Still have the passion and fire for the game, and this gives them the opportunity to play. And not only does it bring together the community and some great societies and groups that they provide contributions and funds to.
The National Public Safety Football League. We talk about big-time receivers. Rittenhour out of Campbell University, Kevin Alford out of UNC Westland, Devin Geis out of Auburn University, and Stedman Graham, who has a couple grabs as well, out of Emory and Henry. So it's the experience of Rittenhour and rookie first-year player in Graham. And you can see right there, Rittenhour warm-up. Still a light drizzle that's been consistent throughout, partner.
You know, kind of what you're touching on, what you just spoke about, rookies and first-year players. Coach Davis had indicated this year we've kind of gotten younger. You know, typically these rosters can kind of get a little aged over time, but this year they got 10 new players, all first-timers. And he was loving that. He said, yeah, I like the younger players coming in, mixing in with the veterans.
Looks like we are about a minute out from kickoff. The Cobras will start the ball in the second half.
This would be fun to see what they come out with and how interesting, what kind of offense their offensive coordinator dials up here. In fact, head coach Charlie Davis is the offensive coordinator. So let's see if he tweaks the offense just a little bit.
And we are a few moments away from second half kickoff. We'll catch you on the other side of this commercial break.
If you have a valid person to claim first-degree injury, then you have to determine if someone else was negligent. If there's a link between that negligence and your injury, you've got a strong case and you can't proceed.
Cobras and Associates, we fight for you.
Our mission is providing that support, advocacy, and awareness for organ donation. Be a forever hero, donate life is the message we want to get out there.
As an FDNY firefighter, he was a hero in life. As an organ donor, Billy Moon, also a hero in death.
FDNY firefighter Billy Moon's heart was successfully transplanted into 63-year-old Richard Grell last December.
And as his widow, Christina, processed her heartbreak and her grief, she fulfilled a promise that was made to her husband and donated his organs so others could live. 5 lives were saved in the process.
There are around 103,000 people waiting for a transplant across the country.
One person can save 8 lives and improve up to 75 more.
And third quarter presented by On Your Own 6 Bourbon Whiskey, onyour6.com. Charlotte will start the ball in the second half. They lead 7-2 in the season opener of the National Public Safety Football League. Real football, real heroes. TC Wardell, Bo Fertig on the call here in El Cajon, California. It's football weather, partner. Any weather is football weather, right?
Yeah, it depends on what part of the country you are. But again, you don't see too much rain here at this time of year, every once in a while. We were hoping for some clear skies. Didn't get them, but still, we still have the action on the field, and we still have a lot of encouragement, a lot of enthusiasm for this ball game.
Coming to you from Granite Hills High School, a program that has developed into a state champion the last couple years. They've been a dominant program here in the county of San Diego, and this is the start of the third quarter presented by On Your 6 Bourbon Whiskey. Ball brought from the goal line, sidesteps a couple defenders. The ball's loose on the floor, and the San Diego Enforcers recover.
Morrison, a nice return going.
So special teams once again for the Enforcers paying off.
Once again, a good kick, went back down to the 2-yard line. And that's Morrison following his blocking, cuts back in to the outside. Looks like he's got a big return, and all of a sudden, that ball gets stripped. He coughs it up, and the enforcers pick it up at the 25-yard line. Great field position, and what a way to start the second half of this game.
And it will lead to the best field position for the enforcers with the ball at their Charlotte 25. That brings on Jay Gonzalez through one interception in that first half. And passing game got it going a little bit, some chunk plays in the air.
Here and there. They're going to need a little more of that now in the second half of play to get back in the ball game.
Another pistol formation, wing right, 2 receivers to the left of Gonzalez. Charlotte's going to bring forth Swatkowski. They call him Ski, plows forward. We really haven't seen much running room for the enforcers here.
No, and that's kind of a testament to that front wall of the Cobras. They've done a good job between the tackles containing that ground attack by the enforcers.
And that is one of the strengths for the Cobras on defense. Samuels, Cohen, Mims, Lewis, and Shelf up front, allowing Hayes and Cummings to run sideline to sideline, making big plays. After the short gain, 2nd and long for the enforcers. Ball at the 23. Quick pitch, almost a double pass. Decides to tuck and run. Keeps his feet moving after slipping a couple tackles. But another tackle for loss for the Cobras defense. Once again, sideline to sideline, those linebackers go from Hayes and Cummings.
Yeah, and somehow Hayes missed that tackle because he's one of the most sure tacklers here in the NPSFL. But he had a lot of help with his brothers coming to his aid, creating a loss on that play. That was actually an extended run, in essence, more than anything else.
Well, one thing he did do is you run that bunny route, cut in front, make him slow down, allow the defense to rally, and he did just that right there. Tackle for loss brings up a 3rd and 10. Cobras got 4 on the line. They bring 4. Gonzalez rolls right to elude pressure, has some space downfield, crosses the 15, gets inside the 10, and the biggest run for Gonzalez, keeps his feet moving down the sideline and falls inside the 5 for his biggest run of the night.
Boy, what a run. That might be the biggest run of his career. He not known to be running using his legs much from the backfield, but what a great job down the right side.
The big 20-yard gain on the ground for quarterback Jay Gonzalez sets up the enforcers inside the 5.
And strong running, too. Not only avoided a few, ran over a defender as well.
Best chance for the enforcers offense here tonight. Under 13 minutes remaining. Gonzalez will hand it off to Ski. Bounces off to the left side, keeps his feet moving, breaks one tackle, but once again the penetration up the middle and eventually brought down by linebacker Donovan Hayes.
Yeah, that's a little predictable running on first down, but doing that same play, as you'll see here.
And this is the big running play by Gonzalez.
Look at this. Okay, he's not running a 4-4, but look at him out. Gets by 2-3 defenders, runs him over, and dives forward for extra yardage. That's a heck of a run by Gonzalez.
Great effort by Gonzalez. Game-winning plays right there, especially with a low-scoring game. It's usually 1 or 2 plays that you look back on and pinpoint them as game winners. The tackle for loss brings up a 2nd and goal for the enforcers. First time inside the red zone here tonight. Gonzalez will roll right. Looks downfield. Nobody's open. Pressure off the edge. And Gonzalez goes down, throws the ball before he's tackled. The Cobras want a fumble, but they're going to call incomplete pass.
You know, he was in the pocket. He was clean. I mean, didn't really need to roll out on that one. He ran right into the white jerseys and kind of tossed it at the last second. But now, after a big play, 2 plays later, they're going backwards.
It did look like that play was developed to go right. And a lot of the times, if that wasn't the case, the pressure in that first half kind of playing in the back of Gonzalez's mind. The incomplete pass will bring up a 3rd and goal for the enforcers.
And it was a 1st and goal from the 2. Now they're moving backwards again.
Under 12 minutes remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Gonzalez with single back to his hip pocket. Gonzalez looks right. Throws towards the end zone. Has a receiver. And a great job by Merchant The big hit over the middle jars the ball loose from Means.
Actually, not a bad pass. You try to get it down low, and where only his receiver could get it.
Oh, it looked like Means had it in his mitts. Yep. Just the hit from Merchant jarred the ball loose.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And even Gonzalez took a bit of a hit, and that ball came out fluttering a little bit.
You're told if you can't beat the ball there, look for the ball, whether it's bringing the hands through it or laying the lumber with your shoulder. And Merchant did just that to save a touchdown. Carlos Sanchez on the kick. What will be a 31-yard field goal. This will be his first field goal attempt of the night. Snap is good. The hold is good. And Gonzalez' kick is good. A win for San Diego, getting on the board for the first time through the offense, but a small win for Charlotte as well, holding them to a field goal.
Yeah, we're playing a baseball game here, 7-5 at this point in time. No, I agree. It's a victory for the Enforcer offense, getting their first points on the board, and for the Cobras, keeping them out of the end zone when they were just 2 yards away.
So after the field goal, 31-yard field goal from Carlos Sanchez, Geis and Alford back to return for Charlotte. And the kick didn't go long enough, so that will give a good field position for Charlotte. The ball will go to the 40 of the Cobras. So the ball has to get past a certain point inside the 20, and they said it checked on the other side.
How nice is it for an offense to start at your own 40-yard line on situations like that?
Field position proved pivotal in that first half. We'll see how it plays out here with 11:06 remaining in the third. Charlotte offense back onto the field. Mark Brown with the passing touchdown, and no interceptions thus far. I'm not going to jinx out. This is a double jinx back. Knocking on wood. I'm not doing it to you, Mark Brown, out of the Charlotte Fire Department. He's been with the Cobras for 11 seasons, so he could handle the heat. Jonathan McClure, the running back out of East Carolina. Bad snap to Brown, and Brown just wisely falls on it.
Wow.
And Brown goes down for a big sack.
Let's see if that's so. We can't tell from there if it was a question of a bad snap or just or the ball being too
it was
slick.
a good snap. I think just the ball's just a little wet right now and tough to come up with it cleanly. 15-yard loss brings the ball back to the 25.
Big opportunity for San Diego here.
Once again, this third quarter presented by On Your Six Bourbon Whiskey, OnYour6.com. After the bad snap, 10-20 and counting here in the third quarter. Second in forever for the Charlotte Cobras. Brown will look right, has his receiver up the seam. That's Rittenhauer, brings it in at the 40 and has nothing but green in front of him. He'll get in for a Charlotte Cobras touchdown.
Wow, one-on-one coverage. Calvert against Rittenhauer.
The 75-yard touchdown pass from Brown to Rittenhauer, their second connection of the night.
Wow.
On a 2nd and 25-2, partner.
Good protection here. They only brought 4.
Great timing, beautiful ball.
And good pattern by Rittenhauer. And just at that point, there was no safeties on top, and he just cruised into the end zone for a Charlotte score.
When Brown sees one-on-one coverage with number 1, they go to him majority of the time, and they did right there. Rittenhauer now with over 100 yards receiving on the night, and the biggest play of the night going to the Charlotte's offense here in the third quarter with 9:59 remaining. Extra point is good. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And a big play for the Charlotte offense. A 75-yard touchdown from Brown to Rittenhauer. Their biggest play of the night, their second connection, and the rain is starting to come down. Nate Archer scoops up at the 15-yard line. Gets to the outside, crosses the 35, has a lane, shakes the tackle, crosses the 40, and runs out of real estate. That will set up good field position for the Enforcers.
So we get a replay here, the kickoff. And with Archer, he's just a big, and he's not a typical
like a David
guy.
Boston type of guy.
What are you having him return kicks for? Look at him. He gets to the outside. He's got good vision, breaks tackles. I'm going to break another one. I'm getting by you. And he's just not a lot of fun to try to bring down.
Nice blocking downfield by that front of San Diego as well. Enforcers still looking for their first touchdown of the night. Charlotte has two, both through the air to Jabri Rittenhauer.
So now San Diego's in a position where they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more to get back into this ball game.
And with the two successful extra points, this is a two-possession game, partner.
Exactly right.
San Diego down 9. Gonna need to get something going. This is about their fourth offensive possession where they're starting at the 40. It's Gonzalez near side, rolls left, and he's getting tracked down by the big number 82. Yes, he's big and he's fast. Denzel Samuels in his 7th season, not allowing Gonzalez any breathing room.
Took down a member of the San Diego Enforcer staff on the sidelines when he couldn't get Gonzalez. But he was able to flip that ball forward and get a few yards out of it. So good job by Gonzalez under pressure.
Short gain. Now we have Eduardo Mejia in the backfield with Gonzalez. Gonzalez hands off to Mejia. Off the right side, gets to the edge, has some room and more. Gets inside Charlotte territory and is brought down 1 yard short. One of their better runs of the game for San Diego off the right side.
Exactly right. I was just about to say that. As you see here, they get a good job building that line, blocking off to the left side. Mejia just follows the blocking, hits through the tunnel, and picks up 7 or 8 yards.
Nice lead blocking and blocking off the right side from Rojas and Hamilton. Bringing up a 3rd and 1 for the Enforcers.
First time they have a 3rd down in the most manageable situation as opposed to 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 12.
Yeah, this is their sweet spot on offense right here.
They can handle
leaving
this.
the playbook wide open. Mejia staying in the game as the single back. Bunch formation off the right side. Movement up front. Ball's loose on the ground. Late flag thrown.
Yeah. You've got actually 2 players on the defensive side for the Cobras with their feet across, right at the football or right across it. So they're lining up off sides. Yep, offsides.
That will result in a first down. You know, partner, with limited games being played this season, anywhere from 3 to 5, these games have that much more meaning.
Exactly. Every game here is important. There's a big impact with each game. So there's an urgency to win every week. And if you're playing every 2-3 weeks in this league.
San Diego now inside Charlotte 45, and Charlotte has 7 to 8 guys up on the line, which doesn't leave a lot of running room for the Enforcers.
But still able to squeeze out a few yards off the left guard. They're going to drop in only a 1 yard gain. Bring up 2nd and 9 at the 44-yard line.
Kevin Shelf on the tackle.
And there they go again on this kind of an amoeba defense. Got some players lined up, standing up at the line of scrimmage.
Bunch right. Mejia, they're trying that reverse. Fakes the reverse. Once again, the penetration up front for the Cobras, providing a lot of difficulty for San Diego to run their plays.
That's a challenging play to run with that type of defensive set. You've got 4 or 5 players standing up, and they're just cutting through the gaps. And you're trying to run a reverse, that's almost impossible.
John Tavius King just blowing that play up in the backfield. That's the 2nd time they've tried to run that reverse and just unable to.
It's a little difficult with the way the Charlotte's playing defense, and they're just blowing through gaps.
Tackle for loss will bring up a 3rd and long for the Enforcers. We've heard that a few times here today. Under 6.5 minutes remaining.
This is not their strong point on 3rd and long.
Gonzalez, flag thrown at the snap, goes far side, overthrows his intended receiver. We'll see what the flag is.
We're going to get offsides again against the Cobras.
Cobras in the neutral zone.
If you take a look, Bo, you're going to see them oftentimes lining up with a foot right up against the football on the line of scrimmage.
And that keeps his drive alive, partner, after the incomplete pass from Gonzalez. We'll bring up a 3rd and 9.
Charlotte giving a little bit different look in this drive defensively with their front. As they're bringing some of the linebackers, even some of the defensive end on a stand-up and not with their hand on the ground. So they're trying to confuse Gonzalez with who's coming.
You saw on the screen that Denzel Samuels, the 7th-year player for Charlotte. Once again, movement up front. We have a free play. Gonzalez is going to go deep. The jump ball on the far side of the field. And that's brought down for an interception from the Charlotte secondary, but it's most likely going to be waved off from the movement up front.
Yeah, Gonzalez did the right thing there. You know, he knew he had a penalty, he had a free play, as you mentioned, and he just threw it deep and hoping that his receiver might come up with the catch.
Stedman Graham with the INT going both ways here today. Also had a couple big grabs in that first half to set up that first score.
So that's the 4th time this evening that the Cobras have been caught offsides.
And that's 10 free yards for the Enforcers. This is kind of that no man's land of the field. Yeah. Even if they don't get this, they might still go for it. Those 10 extra yards definitely help. Gonzalez hands off up the gut to Mejia. Mejia plows forward. He needed about 4 or 5 and got half of those.
Yeah, I think he got his knee down. It looked like he kept going, but evidently his knee touched early, so it's going to be about 2 yards short of the sticks. So like you said, Bo, I think right now they're going to go, no reason not to go for it right here.
Usually when you run it on a 3rd and short, you're almost tipping your cap, and we're going to go for it on 4th down if we don't get a loss on the run. Picking up half, brings up a 4th and short. This will be the first 4th down for the Enforcers as far as going for it.
It'll be interesting to see if they decide to run this and what Charlotte does on the defensive front to stop it.
Gonzalez, they're going to pass it through the air. Pump fakes, gets a defender in the air, has a receiver over the middle. That's Means inside the 20, and the Enforcers, a huge 4th down conversion, getting back into the red zone. Nice job by Gonzalez, freeing up some time.
Yeah, it was a good pattern, too. He just found the open spot. You don't have to run through that zone, just sit in that zone, in that open area, and he did just that, made a nice catch. And a big, big 1st down to keep this drive alive for the Enforcers.
So 10 free yards from Charlotte. Advantage San Diego now inside the red zone for the 2nd time here today. Last time resulted in a field goal. Gonzalez wants a receiver in motion. Mejia remains in as the single back. Mejia will get the handoff up the gut, has a lane. 3 or 4 yards starting to turn into 5 and 6, partner, as this game's moving along.
Got a lot of good blocking from the center to the tackle on the left side of the offensive line for the Enforcers. Opened a big hole for Mejia.
Morales, Tapia, and Rojas up the middle. And Mejia will get a quick breather as Ski comes back onto the pitch. And we have a timeout by the Charlotte defense. I think they're a little tired, partner. We'll take a quick break right here on YouTube.
So this is me. I'm here sharing our story. I am still standing because I found a reason to keep standing and walking. It starts with my 2 children, and it also continues with the legacy that Billy has now left behind. Our mission is providing that support, advocacy, and awareness for organ donation.
Check your box and go online. Be an organ donor.
Be a forever hero, donate life is the message we want to get out there. To date, in 16 months, I have spoken to over 1,500 first responders. I have spoken to the last 3 fire classes at the FDNY Academy. By the end of 2024, I'm hoping to have spoken to over 3,000 first responders. If you want to talk about hearing our story and more that we can all do together, please let me know. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you again for having me.
And you're watching tonight's game here on the NPSFL network. Enforcers back into the red zone on back-to-back possessions, looking to put this one in. Second down, Ski up the middle, sidesteps the defender, but is held up near the line of scrimmage by big number 99, Cohen Mims.
99. If you're wearing 99, you're having a big game here today for both
For either
teams.
side, yeah. Under 3:30 remaining here in the third. Once again, it says real football, real heroes. First responders giving it their all here today in the season opener. The modest gain brings up a 3rd and short for Gonzalez. Receiver in motion. Ball's rolled back to Gonzalez, and he's just going to have to jump on it at the 20. So a 3rd and short off a tough snap. A heads-up play by Gonzalez. And he comes up limping a bit.
Yeah, that ball went all the way to the left of Gonzalez. No chance for him to get that ball. He did the smart thing by just jumping on it. But enforcers, every time, they get the opportunity, then they take 2 steps back on a bad play or a bad call. So they're going to force to kick another field goal.
And Derek Sanchez out of Penn State got to Gonzalez first.
It's a 37-yard field goal attempt.
Carlos Sanchez is 1 of 1 here tonight. He had a 31-yard field goal earlier in the game. And the kick is up and good. Sanchez 2 for 2 on the night and brings this game back to a 1-possession game. Charlotte 14, San Diego 8 here on the NPSFL network. So back-to-back possessions inside the red zone, and San Diego can only come up with 6 points. Is it more of a win for San Diego or more for Charlotte at this point in the game with 2:20 remaining in the third?
I'm going to call it 50-50 because it's such a low-scoring ball game. Now San Diego right back into this one within a score of actually and an extra point of leading it. But again, the offense of the Enforcers, they do something good, and then all of a sudden something bad happens, and they take 2 steps backwards. And that's been forcing them to kick field goals and not get the ball across the goal line.
Alford and Geis back to return. Geis is going to scoop it inside the 10. Gets to the 20 and is upended at the 20. Great special teams coverage by the San Diego Enforcers.
Don't jump. I'm going to tell you that right now. First thing we learned in Pop Warner.
Especially with the guy running down the field with a full head of speed.
Okay. I'm going to be a high jumper. No, I'm not. It just went head over heels and dropped. Yeah, I think the special teams coach is going to have a little conversation with him after that play.
It's been the special teams effort for San Diego. It started that scoring for them and keeping the Charlotte offense with not the best field position, because we saw that in the first half. Advantage Charlotte. Not so much here in the third. One of the reasons why San Diego has allowed to be put up 6 points. Once again, this third quarter presented by On Your 6 Bourbon Whiskey. Another quick hit to Geis. We saw that in the first half. Wanted to get the ball in his hands quickly, and he picks up a gain of 9.
Yeah, nice wide receiver screen. Got some good blocking downfield from his teammates, and a nice chunk run of 9 yards, make it a 2nd and short.
The rookie out of Auburn University. We're now under 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. The halftime score was 7-2, so this third quarter, 7-6.
Yeah, big offensive explosion here.
Yeah, two field goals for San Diego and a safety to start the game. And it's been both touchdowns for Charlotte in the air from Brown to Rittenhauer. Brown with 2 receivers to the left, to the right. He looks right, has his receiver over the middle, and the ball a little too low for his intended receiver, Kevin Alford.
Yeah, just threw that just a little too in front of his receiver. And Alford ran a nice pattern to get open on the slant. And that brings up a 3rd and 1 for the Cobras. The ball at their own 29-yard line.
1:22 remaining in the 3rd quarter after that incomplete pass. I'd say passing the running, it's been about 70-30 for the Cobras. Even on these 3rd and shorts, 2nd and shorts.
And that's what they like to do. Again, we've touched on it a number of times in this game. They want to get the ball into the receiver's hands quickly, let them make the big plays.
Jonathan McClure, the single back behind Brown, who has 2 passing touchdowns here tonight. Good job by the front of San Diego, not jumping off sides. The handoff, McClure makes a move in the backfield and gets 2. He needed 1, got 2, and a big first down for Charlotte.
Yeah, they put 7 on the line, and they brought everybody to close every gap.
And this right here, you can see right there, nice move by McClure.
It was that cutback that opened it up and get him just enough for the first down.
Under a minute remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Once again, this 3rd quarter presented by On Your Own 6, On Your 6 bourbon whiskey. On Your Own. I don't know why I keep wanting to say it. Is it yours? Is it mine? Is it ours? OnYour6.com. Big 3rd down conversion. Mark Brown. They're liking this base formation. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. And the single back, Jonathan McClure, the rookie running back out of East Carolina University. Pressure off the edge, and Brown goes down.
They didn't want him to go left again, so they brought 2. They put an outside linebacker to the defensive end from the left side. Watch this. And
overload.
They took over the top.
Brought too many.
Yep. You can't block enough people. And a great job by this defense. And a good job in this quarter defensively by the Enforcers. Pretty much even across the board for both these teams as we head to the quarter number 4.
And now we'll end 3rd quarter action. Charlotte 14, San Diego 8 here on the NPSFL network.
We're talking about the people who have put their lives on the line for this great country, the people who have lost and paid the greatest price for our freedom, for guys like me to be able to go sing songs about whatever I want to sing about every single night. And we're talking about an organization that helps support families and support the people that are running into the danger that the rest of us are running away from. And that's the kind of people I want to be beside. Those are the real heroes, man. I'm just a big fat guy with a guitar. Hey, y'all, this is Jelly Roll, and I am asking you to give $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to honoring the dignity of the American service member and is committed to helping end homelessness amongst the veteran community and ensure no veteran is left behind. Providing a safe and dignified home is an imperative part of helping veterans who are homeless reclaim their lives. Donate $11 a month by calling 1-844-BRAVEST or visit T2T.org.
We now head into the 4th quarter here on the NPSFL network, presented by Educated K9s Assisting with Disabilities. And partner, last time we saw a big sack from San Diego, Charlotte responded with a big play. This 75-yard touchdown to Riddenauer.
Now watch Riddenauer on this pattern here. You have plenty of time to throw. Riddenauer gets inside the defender, uses a little bit of speed, juggles a little bit, and then just cruises into the end zone. No safety on top, 75 yards, pay dirt, touchdown, Cobras.
Using that big body. Once a receiver of that size gets inside the corner, it's almost difficult to stop. Great effort by Calvert. Just came up empty. And the big sack, loss of 11, brings up a 2nd and 21. Start of the 4th quarter.
San Diego dance.
Enforcers are going to bring the house. One-on-one coverage. And goes through the cornerback's hand. Great coverage on the outside.
They went cover 0. I'm sorry, partner. Went cover 0 that time. They brought about 8 men on the line of scrimmage, lining up one-on-one with the receivers, as we see here. Look at the numbers in black running through. And a good job by Brown just to get this win and almost picked off. If he had thrown that ball inside more, I think Ridenour would still be running.
Yeah, almost identical play from that touchdown.
Exactly right. Deep seam.
I would say that time the pressure almost was a little bit more heavy on Brown. Didn't have a lot of time. Wasn't able to step into that one. The incomplete pass brings up a 3rd and 21.
Let's see how they'll line up at the line of scrimmage and what kind of blitz they'll dial up here. A lot of black jerseys at the line of scrimmage.
And a single safety over the top. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right for Brown. Enforcers bring 6. Brown under pressure gets it near side to Ridenour. A late flag was thrown after the throw in the backfield. Brown's looking for the penalty call.
I think Ridenour was looking for one on the sidelines as well. He felt he might have gotten hit late after the grab. And we're going to get a roughing the passer against the Enforcers.
And an automatic first down. Ridenour was tackled well short of the first down, but the penalty keeping the drive alive for Charlotte.
So
nice
lost
pitch
opportunity.
and catch right there.
It was. He's out of bounds here, and he gets hit a little bit late. No harm, no foul, evidently. But opportunity for the Cobras.
We saw back-to-back penalties from Charlotte on the defensive side keep the drive alive for San Diego, and that big penalty keeping the drive alive for Charlotte, as that brings the ball to the Cobras 43.
Automatic first down for Charlotte. And get new life here for the Cobras as they lead by 6 with 14:23 to play.
Enforcers bring 6 again. Brown gets rid of it quickly, and the great pursuit by the Enforcers defense for no gain.
That's what I love about this Enforcers defense. They can bring the heat up through the middle, but at the same time, if that ball gets to the outside, they've got people flying out there to get there. So they never leave an area unoccupied.
Curtis Bryant with the open field tackle for a loss of 1, actually, partner. So great open field tackle. And it's one of those, if Bryant misses that tackle, there's a lot of space on the other side for the receivers.
Yeah, I like the way that the Enforcers defense has been playing tonight. Even though they're down by 6, but they've only given up 14 points in over 3 quarters. It's just a question of getting their offense on track and staying consistent.
We've seen Charlotte's MO, that short passing game, and it definitely proves more that they'll probably throw that with the pressure from San Diego.
Yep. And that's what the Enforcers are wanting. They want to keep this ball short to let their linebackers' speed make plays downfield.
Enforcers bring 5. Pressure on Brown, looking for the screen pass, and that ball's almost intercepted. Another great play call for a team that's bringing the pressure, and San Diego misses a big opportunity.
That is a big oops and boo-boo by Brown, just lofting that football out in the flat with so many black jerseys out there.
And that was Kevin Novick, the MVP in the 2023 championship game. Nice read by him. You could see Brown on that back pedal was setting up that screen. You can see right here from Novick. Special agent with the DEA, has played 10 seasons with the Enforcers. He's one of their captains on the defensive side. And the incomplete pass brings up a 3rd and 11. Still a steady drizzle here in El Cajon, California. 13 minutes on the clock.
Personnel issues here for the Cobras. They're not quite sure who they wanted on the field, so they call a timeout.
And because of it, Charlotte will call a timeout. Charlotte 14, San Diego 8 here on the NPSFL network.
My mom was the most amazing person in my life.
I would definitely consider my mom as a hero.
I love and miss my mom very much. The worst day of my life was the day that my mother was murdered on July 5th, 2017. That same night in the hospital, when my brother and sister asked me who was going to take care of them after I had to break the horribly tragic news that our mother had been murdered, I said, I will take care of you.
There are over 1,000 families that need our help.
Talented Towers is honoring those heroes that risk their lives by providing them with mortgage-free homes.
First responders are human too. They have fears and families that they need to come home to. For just $11 a month, you can give back to these heroes who gave up so much for you and ensure that their families will always have a home.
Please donate $11 a month by visiting tunneltotowers.org or calling 1-844-BRAVEST. Thank you.
Back with you here on the NPSFL network. Big 3rd and long for Charlotte. Over the middle, has his receiver. Bounces off the chest. Mark Brown put it right on the numbers, but Stedman Graham couldn't come down with it.
That could have been 6 the other that direction. As you see here, great job by the offensive line to give Brown time to throw.
Once again, pressure up the middle. Didn't get there in time, and Graham's going to want that one back.
Yeah, that's going to haunt him tonight, no question about it. And that'll force the Cobras back to punt. But once again, outstanding job by the Enforcer defense to get this ball back on 4th down. But now it's time for that offense to come through and help out that dirty and get 7 back on the board.
Merchant comes on to punt for Charlotte. Archer back to receive. We have whistles before the snap.
The Billy Moon Foundation. Organ donation can have profound impact on not just a recipient, but donors and communities as well. We strive to be that lifeline of support for those in need. Visit BillyMoonFoundation.org for more information on how you can register to become an organ donor today.
Enforcers with too many men on the field. It was 4th and 11, so that will bring it.
That's a first game penalty. It's not too uncommon with special teams on your first game of the year to have a mistake like that. But no harm, no foul. We'll have to punt it again.
Archer with his heels at the 27. Merchant kicks it over the head of Archer, rolls inside the 10, and will roll through the end zone.
ECAD, Educated Canines Assisting with Disabilities. Our mission is to enable people with disabilities to gain greater independence and mobility through the use of specially educated dogs. Visit ecad1.org to learn more about our Service Dogs program.
It's the season opener for the National Public Safety Football League. Real football, real heroes. TC Wardell, Bo Furtick here in El Cajon, California. This 4th quarter presented by Educated Canines Assisting with Disabilities. You can learn more about them at ecad1.org. And Jay Gonzalez comes back onto the field after back-to-back field goals for the offense.
Let's try to get 7 this time. Offense been moving just enough to get 3 on the board. But right now they're down by 6.
12:44 remaining in regulation. A handoff to Mejia. Sidesteps the defender, but once again, not a lot of room up front. Keeps his feet moving to pick up an extra 1 or 2 yards, but it's Cohen Mims and Lewis up the middle again.
Yeah, a little predictable on 1st down. I think they need to come up with something a little more unique to keep Charlotte on their toes defensively. Running through the middle's fine, but they've been doing it all game long.
John Tavius King as well, stepping in nicely for that front of Charlotte. The gain of 4 brings up a 2nd and 6. We have a stack formation on the far side of the field. Receiver in motion. We haven't seen Archer after that big 20-yard grab in the 2nd quarter. Once again, the run up the gut, and the holes are starting to open up little by little for the Enforcers as they stick with the run game.
Yeah, that was a big pop on that play when they're running with Mejia. Got a good block up front from the left right guard and just scored it through that hole for a 1st down.
Once again, the downhill running of Mejia. North to south. Donovan Hayes on the tackle. Mentioned his name a few times tonight.
A few hundred times tonight.
Under 11 and a half minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Gonzalez, the handoff. Can they successfully run the reverse? They do. Can the receiver get to the edge? He cannot. 3 attempts. All did not go in the favor of San Diego. Great pursuit by the Charlotte defense.
I'll tell you this. I like the play call on 1st down and running that. They just couldn't get to the edge on that play and break through. You could have needed that one block to seal him and get to the outside. That could have been gone for a big play, but good job by the Cobra defense to string that one out for a 2-3 yard loss.
Yeah, Stedman Graham, a big tackle after missing and dropping that touchdown grab. Loss of 3.
But you're right, Bo. They're 0-0 for so far tonight on those jet sweeps and on those reverses.
Mejia stays in as a single back. Archer, the slot receiver. The long throw down the sideline, tipped and intercepted by Charlotte. Gets inside San Diego territory, has a block, has a lane, twirls inside the 20, and a huge turnover for the defense of the Cobras.
Devin Easter, recipient of the tip pass.
And here's the replay right here.
Just
Gonzalez.
launched it deep, yeah. Goes high and in coverage, and Easter comes up with the ball. He's got, thank you, I'll take that. Easter makes some nice moves downfield, gets a few good blocks from his teammates, squeezes through some defenders all the way down to the 18-yard line. And a huge opportunity now for the Cobras to open this game up.
Cobras scored their first touchdown after an interception. San Diego with 10:15 remaining in the fourth quarter. They're going to need a big stop right here, down 6.
And hope potentially for a field goal attempt. They've got to keep the Cobras out of the end zone here. It's going to be a huge uphill climb with 10:15 to play.
Mark Brown, in his 11th season, works for the Charlotte Fire Department. Has 2 passing touchdowns on the night, both to Jabri Rittenhauer.
Single coverage on the right side of the field. No safety's help, and officials whistle this one dead. Delay a game against the Cobras.
It's tough to see that out of a timeout break, partner.
Yeah, no kidding. On your 6, bourbon whiskey. Inspired by everyday heroes like nurses, police officers, teachers, and firefighters who make the country so loved and respected, we keep the military tradition of grabbing a drink to celebrate someone who's got your 6. Visit onyour6.com today to purchase your first bottle.
Under 10 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter. Mark Brown, good job in bringing down the snap, but pressure up the middle as Brown goes down.
A lot of heat coming from inside the guards here. And look at the blitz coming from inside and getting away from people.
Funk off the edge again.
No, of course. He's always going to be in the action, forcing Brown to make a bad throw.
So the incomplete pass will bring up a 2nd and 15. Under 10 minutes remaining.
So incumbent for San Diego to keep the Cobras out of the end zone here and hold them if they can to a field goal and possibly even getting this football back quickly.
We have yet to see a field goal attempt from Charlotte. San Diego converted on both of their field goal attempts. Jonathan McClure, the rookie running back out of East Carolina, stays into the right hip pocket of Brown. Brown looks right, has a receiver over the middle. Receiver goes down for the grab and brings it in. Nice catch by Kevin Alford, the slot receiver out of UNC Westland.
And that was a good pitch and catch by Brown as Alford made a nice catch, as you'll see here in the replay. Watch Alford get inside the defender, and that's exactly what you do. You're almost boxing him out, getting your back to the defender, and giving yourself an open look for the quarterback. So now threatening within the 15-yard line.
San Diego continuing to bring the pressure. You can see Brown much more aware of that, looking to get the ball out of his hands quickly.
I would say, what can Brown do for you? But that would be a horrible, horrible.
We're about to find out. 9:15. Well, so far, 2 passing touchdowns on the night. And a big 3rd down, the biggest of the night. Brown will throw it in the flats, has his receiver. A great job by the corner coming off the block, but a late flag after the pass in the backfield. We have 2 flags thrown, a flag and a hat by that backfield official.
I think Funk is going to get called for roughing the passer, but then an offsetting call because
I think Brown came up and was a little chirpy.
Yep, exactly right. And I think we're going to get this offsetting.
Chirping at Funk.
Yeah. You got to keep quiet, maintain your composure, and just take the penalty. And unfortunately, that's not going to work toward the Cobras' advantage here. So we have a roughing a passer against Funk. And sportsmanlike against Brown for speaking his mind after the sack.
Yeah. And Brown's been getting beat up a lot in the backfield, so.
So see here, look, Funk going to hit him. Like, okay, get that. And a great tackle out of the way up on Geis. And they didn't get the first down, so it's going to be.
No, so they give him the first down, and then the second penalty was called after the play.
Marches it back, right. Gotcha. So the ball will be at the 22-yard line after an entire
But Charlotte, a big first down conversion right there to keep the ball in their hands and the clock ticking under 9 minutes remaining. Brown looking for his third passing touchdown on the night. McClure, the single back. 3 receivers to the far side of the field for Brown. Taking his time. Brown, quick throw left, and a great open field tackle. The pitch and grab by Kevin Alford, and the great tackle by Trey Mosley.
Yeah, that was a great read by Mosley. He saw that coming a mile away. Once he saw the receiver turn to the receiver, he knew immediately that was going to be a quick wide receiver screen. When it rolled up, made a great textbook tackle.
Talking to the coaching staff of the Enforcers earlier, on the defensive side, this is one of the better secondaries they've had in a while. We've seen some great open field tackles. Yep. And it's one of the reasons why the Enforcers are bringing so many guys is because they know their solid play on the secondary can pick them up on the back end.
Well, they make that defense a lot of fun to play and fun to watch because they have a lot of different looks, and they'll come from a lot of different angles.
Now under 8 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter. After the loss of 2 brings up a 2nd and 12 for Brown. 3 receivers to the short side of the field. He looks that way. Pressure off the edge. Brown rolls right, and he'll just throw that one away. Looks like he got outside the tackle box.
Wasn't really a receiver where he threw the football. It was close to intentional grounding.
Once again, the pressure off the edge of from San Diego. We haven't seen Brown use his feet a lot. It was most of the times we've seen him use his feet just to create some time and some space.
Right.
But the pressure off the edge is too much right here.
No, he's not a track man. And that time under heavy pressure again. And just threw that ball into a dead zone. Might have gotten away with not getting a grounding call against him, but either way, it's going to fall incomplete and bring up 3rd and 12.
Yeah, it was Jacob Manzenga on the pressure out of the Coronado Fire Department. We've mentioned his name a few times tonight, some big sacks.
Yep.
That was looking to be his 2nd of the night.
Yeah, they're making life uncomfortable for Mr. Brown in the pocket.
7:35 remaining. Ball lies at the San Diego 24. A big 3rd down as the rain comes down.
Someone's opened up the bucket right now.
Brown looks left. One-on-one to Rittenhauer. And through the hands of Rittenhauer, hit him right in the midst. But the ball falls incomplete.
He's not going to miss many like that.
Another great pass by Brown.
It was
right
a
here
good
under
Brown.
pressure.
And that should have been a catch. Got behind the slot corner. And Brown read it. And unfortunately, unable to hold on to it. That brings up 4th down. And an opportunity for the Enforcers, if they can make a stop here, get that football back. And a chance to not only tie, but take the lead in this game with 7:30 to play.
The rain continues to come down a little harder. The offense stays on to the pitch. This is kind of no man's land. This is about a 41-yard field goal, so they're going to try their luck on 4th and 12. Yep. Biggest play of the game, 7:29 remaining.
Too close to punt, too far to kick.
Enforcers bring the pressure. Brown, one-on-one to the outside. There was some contact. Charlotte wants contact. They don't get the call. And the turnover on downs for San Diego. A huge 4th down stop for the Enforcers.
Let's see if that was more incidental than anything else on the contact downfield with one-on-one coverage.
Once again, on an island, I don't think the contact slowed them down enough. I think that ball was going to fall incomplete.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I don't think there was enough there to throw that flag. So a big opportunity now for the Enforcers with 7:22.
Once again, this fourth quarter presented by Educated Canines Assisting with Disabilities, ECAD1.org, if you want to learn more about the program and organization. Mejia didn't start in the backfield, but because he's found some open lanes and holes, they're keeping him in. He comes in as a single back, stack formation on the far side of the field. Mejia just plows his way forward and falls forward for a gain of 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Nice gain on first down.
Yeah, they run ski in motion that time and then cut him right up in the hole. And that's when Mejia just followed. So I'm going to take number 31 and go right on his back and picked up 5 on the play.
Hewlett and Jason Butler on the right side starting to get some push up front, partner.
I think they might be tiring this Cobra defensive front just a little bit.
Jason Butler in his 20th season as an enforcer. Mejia again has some juice, explodes through the hole, and another nice gain.
They're starting to blow off the line a little bit more. Mejia's more of a slasher, and he's finding those holes and finding those seams. Look at the blocking there. I mean,
this time off the left side, Putnam and Ransom providing that push up front.
And they're moving the tempo up a little quicker here.
Scratch out Morales and Isaac with the push up front. And Mejia falls forward for a short gain of 2.
Yeah. He's good at reading and finding the gaps and finding areas. He doesn't need a lot of room, not a lot of space. And once he finds it, he squirts right through it.
That's 3 running plays in a row for the Enforcers after the big 4th down stop.
Time not on the side of the Enforcers right now.
5:45 and counting.
They need to move here.
You can hear it from the San Diego sideline as well. 2nd down, Mejia gets hit near the line of scrimmage and falls forward for another short gain to bring up a 3rd and 5. It's not a 3rd and long, though, partner.
No.
Playbook still open for the Enforcers.
Yeah, this is a much more comfortable 3rd down situation for San Diego. As the run game so far in this drive has looked really good. He has done an outstanding job as well as that offensive front.
Nate Archer in the slot at the top of your screen. Gonzalez will hand it off again to Mejia. And Mejia is stood up, and the Charlotte Cobra defense rallies to the ball for a loss.
A little bit of predictability there on that play. He has been successful. They keep going to that well, but once in a while you go to it too often, and the defense just finally sits on it, and they did here just there. Big number 99 stuffed the play, and then the rest of the linebacker squad came in and cleaned up the act.
Colin Hayes cleaned it up with the tackle.
So 4th and 6, and they have no choice at this point to go for it.
They're going to bring on the punt team.
Oh, I stand corrected.
Carlos Sanchez on the punt for the Enforcers.
So they're going to rely on their defense to get this football back for them.
Oh, loses the ball, kicks it off the ground. Not something you see every day. Not the prettiest, but it was effective. 17, that's a 40, 45 yard
punt. Better punt of the night. That was basically off the ground. I know I'm not going to allow it, though.
The drop punt, drop kick is illegal in the game of football.
But I give him credit for this.
Oh, amen to that.
That slick ball, couldn't handle it. He said, I'm just going to kick this one off the ground. That might have been his best punt of the night with a great enforcer bounce to go with it. But the ball we moved back. That's a headsy play.
I don't even know what type of call that is because I've never seen that.
That would be a first for me. I think
is it a dead ball and the ball's given to Charlotte right there?
Kick a 2-point.
I mean, you could do that on a field goal attempt.
Yeah, you could.
The drop kick.
So why can't you make that play here? I was going to attempt a field goal from 70 yards out. Rain definitely had some play in that with the football.
The rain is taking effect in all phases of the game.
There's a lot. I think even the officials are talking to themselves.
One official's pointing one way, the head official's pointing the other.
So what do we do here? They're going, I don't remember this in the playbook or the rule book. What do we do? Yeah, this is unique, folks.
1 point to mention, San Diego has 3 timeouts, 4:05 remaining. They have the 2-minute warning as well.
But this works really in Charlotte's advantage here.
I think they're going to call dead ball on the muff. I mean, great effort, as you mentioned.
Love it.
Yeah, so they're going to call a dead ball where that ball was fumbled by Garcia, and Charlotte will start with the ball there on this possession. So, once again, good field position for Charlotte.
I guess I understand it a little bit.
And San Diego, with their backs against the wall right now, needing to come up with another big defensive stop.
Yeah, you're putting your defense on alert again. You're putting the pressure on them to get the football back in only 4 minutes to play.
3 receivers to the right of Brown. McClure, the single back. Quick hit to the far side. Some blocks upfield by the receivers. Geis stays in bounds, keeps his feet, gets by one defender, and is dropped inside the 20. We've seen Geis multiple times, very elusive and unable to bring down. Very slippery is number 13.
Yeah, nice execution from the start. Look at him just push defenders away.
Stedman right there with a nice downfield block. And it looks like Geis is down on the floor. We'll keep play rolling. 3:27 and counting after a big first down conversion. Great effort by Geis in picking up that first down.
But now enforcer defense against the wall here.
3:15 and counting.
And the clock on the side of the Cobras right now.
Yes.
They're going to take their sweet
A great
time.
job by Geis staying in bounds right there, keeping the clock moving. Oh, and pressure up the middle. Drops McClure in the backfield.
I'm not sure anybody blocked on that play because there were nothing but black jerseys.
Well,
in the
it makes it
backfield.
look like that when Funk is on the field. And Funk, once again, first one to the ball. He is having a game here tonight.
And that's the reason the game has been so close, is this defense by the enforcers.
And it gets them out of field goal range, partner. We have a timeout.
Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Since 9/11, we've been helping America's heroes by providing mortgage-free homes to Gold Star and fallen first responder families. We are also committed to eradicating veteran homelessness and helping America to never forget September 11th, 2001. Visit T2T.org for more information or to make your donation today. Fourth quarter, presented by Educated Canines Assisting with Disabilities. Check into ecad1.org.
So a big tackle for loss. This is about where the ball was in their last possession, and they were unable to convert due to the big stop of the enforcers.
The boys in black have done an outstanding job tonight defensively, really. Only 2 big plays are really the difference in this ball game.
2 timeouts for San Diego, 2 timeouts for Charlotte, 2:54 remaining in regulation. As Mark Brown comes back onto the field in his 11th season as the Cobras quarterback. McClure in the backfield as a single back. Rittenhauer with both of the touchdowns in the slot. Second and long. Enforcers bring 6. Brown one-on-one on the far side. Has his receiver inside the 5, and he brings it in. A nice back shoulder grab by Stedman Graham.
And you can't blame the defense for that. You see here, he just throws it up to a single receiver. Yeah. Good defensive, just back shoulder, under threw it just a little bit, enough for his receiver to sit and wait for it. Makes the catch, and now Cobras in outstanding position, ready to score again. And one more score would put this one out of reach for the enforcers. As there's still conversation on the field with the officials and the coaches.
I think they're just going to run this one to the 2-minute warning.
Right.
Charlotte 14, San Diego 8 here on the NPSFL network.
Forrest Gump. Well, I'm Gary Sinise. I play Lieutenant Dan.
Hello, I'm Gary Sinise, and while you may recognize me from movies or television, my life's mission has been to honor and support our nation's veterans, servicemen and women, first responders, our most severely wounded heroes, the families of our fallen, and those suffering from the invisible wounds of war.
I appreciate everything that you do for our troops.
Thank you for what you do for these veterans.
What you do for the soldiers, God bless you.
I lost my dad.
I know, and we want to show you that we don't forget your dad.
It's meaningful.
Yeah.
Because I didn't expect any of this, I was just happy to be alive. So when everyone showed their love and support, it's overwhelming.
Please join me to help us help our defenders who keep us safe and our communities strong. Donate today at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Back with you, fourth quarter action for the season opener of the National Public Safety Football League. Biggest play of the night as Mark Brown found Stedman Graham inside the 5, setting up Charlotte inside the 3-yard line. McClure up the middle. And he's stuffed near the line of scrimmage.
Not a lot of room to run there. Good job by stuffing this line up. Everybody black right on the line of scrimmage. Nobody got pushed back and nowhere to run. A timeout on the.
And that's interesting because San Diego would have called a timeout, but because of the injury, Charlotte is charged with the timeout.
So advantage enforcers there, not having to burn a timeout.
And we're going to go to a break. Stay with us here on the NPSFL Network.
New York Firefighters Heart and Lung Institute is a medical center for firefighters, designed by firefighters. As a leading provider of advanced medical screenings, we take pride in offering the best healthcare experience for firefighters and first responders. Since 2002, the New York Firefighters Heart and Lung Institute has been dedicated to screening, diagnosing, and treating first responders and their families each and every day. We provide a broad range of testing and medical care, including cardiac and pulmonary testing, as well as educational seminars focused on firefighter safety throughout the USA and Canada. We are proud to have recently entered into a partnership with the Uniformed Firefighters Association to encourage all firefighters to come in and get tested. New York State awarded a grant to the UFA for testing and cancer screening, and they have partnered with the New York Firefighters Heart and Lung Institute to provide certain services at no cost to the individual. Check out fdnyheart.com or call 516-441-7614 to schedule an individual or group firehouse visit today.
And thankfully, Mike Putnam came off under without any assistance.
Yeah, exactly. It's always a good sign.
Charlotte 14, San Diego 8, 154. San Diego was able to keep one of their timeouts, partner. That's big here on 2nd and goal.
Yeah, but backs up against the wall here for the enforcers, as another score would pretty much put this one out of reach. So a goal line stand here is going to be paramount for them to get back in this ballgame with under 2 minutes to play.
And with Charlotte being up by 6, they're okay with settling for a field goal. That would turn it back into a 2-possession game.
Right, exactly right. And a lot of downtime here on the field right now.
Yeah. If San Diego does make the stop, that will cancel out their 2 timeouts. So when they do get the ball back, they'll have no timeouts remaining. But they're going to need to make a stop here on 2nd and goal with the ball at the 2-yard line. Jonathan McClure, the rookie running back out of East Carolina University, stays in as the single back. Rittenhauer in motion. They look to him. Hits him in the flat near the goal line, and Rittenhauer brings in his 3rd touchdown of the night.
Wow, 3-yard touchdown pass to Rittenhauer, his 3rd. The only one who has scored a touchdown here tonight. This was a great play call, and the execution was perfect.
What we call a man beater.
Yep. Execution perfect. And they just got by the outside defender. Wide open, easy pass. Slides out to the flat.
Yeah, that's tough for a defensive back to go from one side of the field and follow receiver to the other side with blockers in front. A great X's and O's and great execution by the Cobras.
And that'll lock it down for Charlotte with just $1.50 to play.
Mark Brown now with 3 passing touchdowns. He's turned it into a nice game tonight, partner.
A great game tonight, all to Jabri Ridenour. We knew he was going to be a factor, but he's accountable for all of their scoring here tonight.
And back to our player spotlight. We touched on him earlier, and he's lived up to the hype. Jabri Ridenour with 3 receiving touchdowns and over 150 receiving yards on the night.
Yeah, big body guy. And we talked about him being that Deebo Samuel
It's
type.
a great
comparison. It really is, because he looks like he looks the role, and he can do a little bit of everything for this team. Long passes, short, can run the ball as well. Also a good downfield blocker.
The big body receiver has made his impact here tonight. Had that 75-yard touchdown, started the game with a 13-yard touchdown. So he's done it from inside the 5 and from 75 yards out, and even that 75-yard touchdown left on an island. You know, San Diego, a lot of risk and reward on the defensive side, and when you run that many risk-reward plays, eventually you're going to get burnt on the backside.
Yeah, you know, and for the Enforcers defense, really until that touchdown, it's really only been a big play that's burned them. They've played pretty solid for the majority of the evening, but you get too many opportunities, you're going to take advantage of a few, and 3 touchdowns, and now it's going to be a Charlotte victory to open the season.
Merchant unable to get it inside the 20 in the air, so the ball will go 40. To the 40 for San Diego. 1:49 remaining, still 2 timeouts for the Enforcers.
Let's see if we can get something on the board, or get some type of drive going in this truncated time frame.
Looking back for the offense of San Diego, it was those back-to-back possessions to start the third quarter, only resulting in field goals.
Yeah, that as well as the empty possessions in the first quarter, where they got a little, in my mind, a little predictable offensively, and running the ball was fine. Mejia kind of opened it up a little bit in the second half, but Charlotte knew what they were doing. I think they were prepped and ready for it, and maybe needed a little bit more uniqueness to the offense tonight.
One note to mention as well, Charlotte not allowing any big plays, whether it be on the ground or in the secondary. And that's one reason why they've held San Diego without a touchdown here tonight.
Yeah, they've really done a good job. Both defenses really showing out tonight.
Gonzalez looks left, steps up in the pocket, has some room, has used his legs before, and is crunched at the 45 by 2 defenders.
Yeah, I'm glad he's coming up off that one. That was a big hit he took there.
Gain of 5, clock still rolling. At this point, there's no need to hold on to your timeouts because they're going to need an onside kick once they score. This has been the largest deficit for San Diego here tonight, down 13. Gonzalez rolls right, pressure up the middle, and he'll just throw that one in the ground.
Yep. And that'll be intentional grounding as players down on the deck. And everybody up. Good sign, but that's going to be intentional grounding against Gonzalez. And that'll move him back and lose it down.
You know, we're not going to call it a win yet, but this performance by Charlotte, even more impressive, traveling on the road, losing a lot of players, and it's been a lot of the pressure from that front line of the Cobras.
I think in a couple of weeks, they play on the 29th, they play Chicago back at home. That'll be their home opener in Charlotte. And I think the Chicago police enforcers better be watching this film because this is a formidable Charlotte Cobra football team.
They are the defending champs in Division II. This is Division I football. And a big hit in the flats on Mejia. That's number 35 from Charlotte, Jackson Cummings, the starting middle linebacker. The rookie out of Coastal Carolina.
And again, an empty possession. Nothing the Enforcers could do to really get anything going, any kind of offensive flow here. And that's something they're going to need to work on before their next games. To create something more uniqueness, more, I'm not sure how you put it besides uniqueness, but a little more explosiveness to that offensive scheme that they're using.
We have a new quarterback. He's going to get into the flats, Mejia, and Mejia's wrapped up and twirled down by Donovan Hayes. the linebacking core of Hayes and Cummings running sideline to sideline. You mentioned it earlier. Hayes has been impressive and has lived up to the hype.
Yeah, I think Cummings is kind of the name I didn't think about today until I started seeing him play, and he's been outstanding as well. This is a great defensive unit by the Cobras, and they are going to be tough out this season. So we'll start seeing some wholesale changes on both teams here, with players getting an opportunity to play.
Yeah. 38 seconds remaining in this game, and what every team practices, the victory formation.
Yep. This is my favorite formation in football. Remember when I played back in the day at leather helmets.
And Charlotte will go on the road into San Diego and beat the Enforcers 21-8. Enforcers, their first loss in 2 seasons, partner.
Yeah, you touched on it earlier in the game. Because it's such a short, truncated schedule. You're only playing a few games. Every game, there's urgency. Every game matters. So a big road victory in the opener for Charlotte. This is a team that you could potentially see getting to the championship game and making a run and possibly win it all.
Yeah, Charlotte was known for their passing attack, and the combination through the air of Brown and Rittenhauer is going to be one of the best combinations in this league.
And hopefully if Geis is okay, and we're hoping that he is, this is an explosive wide receiver core. Yeah. I mean, they can do a lot. Brown doesn't have to do a lot offensively. Get the ball to their hands, let them make things happen. And their defense is really nails. I mean, this might be the best defense they've had in a number of years. So keep an eye on Charlotte. But on the flip side of the, San Diego, what do they need to work on? I think their defense did a good job tonight for the most part. Offensively, I think they need to be more explosive. I need to be more creative.
And we're going to get to some highlights shortly. Quickly, players of the game was Rittenhauer on offense and Donovan Hayes on defense?
Yeah, I would say Hayes on defense. I think Cummings is right there too. But I also would add in as a special mention
Funk
for the Enforcers did an outstanding job tonight.
And we'll get into some big plays of the game. And this is the start of the second half. This set up San Diego in great field position, but unable to convert with a touchdown.
I see a little bit of aerial aeronautics on this. No, that's right. This was a turnover. Great special teams work to get this ball back. I thought they had an opportunity here to score, to get 7 on the board. Didn't work out.
And then this big play, the 75-yard touchdown, the second touchdown of the night, and that was after a big sack with it being 2nd and 25.
There was just great concentration by Rittenhauer to hold on to that ball. Ran a great pattern, got inside the defender.
They gained that momentum back. And then right here, Geis, just so explosive with the ball in his hands, gets upended right here.
Don't jump.
He had the sideline right there. He will rethink that next time. Yep. And Gonzalez, this ball down the field. At some point, you need to take a chance, and unfortunately, it just didn't work out.
Yeah, Easter was the recipient of that one on the interception. He made a great return after the catch, giving the ball outstanding field position inside the 20 for the Cobras.
And this is the Cobras on offense. Biggest play of the game. It really put the nail in the coffin on a big second down conversion.
Yeah, underthrown ball was perfectly turned by the receiver.
And Rittenhauer's third receiving touchdown on the night.
Like the play there. Good play call there.
And it's great to see these teams huddle. This was the season opener for the National Public Safety Football League. And quickly, partner, last thoughts. What was your overall takeaway from the season opener?
I'm impressed by Charlotte. So many young players on their team this year and come out to play this well on the road against an outstanding team like San Diego. I think they're maybe the team to be beat here this year in the Division I.
Well, the 2024 Division II champions, the defending champions, Charlotte Cobras, start the season 1-0. San Diego falls to 0-1. So many people to thank on this broadcast. Definitely big thanks to Chris Cashman, Brian Vilvin, and my partner, T.C. Wardell. I'm Bo Furtick signing off. It's the National Public Safety Football League Network. See you next time in Week 2 in San Bernardino. Good night, everyone.
Tom Olkers served others.
He was an incredible husband, father, NYPD officer, and FDNY firefighter.
At age 26, Tom worked at Ground Zero in the rescue and recovery efforts following the attacks of 9/11.
Throughout his courageous battle against World Trade Center cancer, Tom deeply appreciated the care provided for him and his family, including the FDNY's Family Assistance Unit.
One of the TO Foundation's first initiatives is to purchase a family assistance van to help ease the burden for other firefighters and their families when facing an illness.
Together, we will honor Tom by helping first responders and their families in their hour of need. Please visit tofamilyfoundation.org today.
For over 2 decades, Rigging NYC Contractors, Inc. has been the go-to provider of rigging services in New York City. Specializing in construction and industrial rigging, as well as machinery moving, we are dedicated to delivering safe and timely solutions. Our team consists of licensed master riggers, operating engineers, Teamster drivers, steam fitters, and iron workers. No matter the industrial or construction application, we have the lifting solution for you. In addition to rigging services, we offer specialized trucking services to handle equipment and materials. Our fleet of tractor trailers and experienced drivers make us the premier choice for New York trucking, including oversized freight and heavy loads. When it comes to rigging, trust the experts, the licensed master riggers at Rigging NYC Contractors. Contact us today for more information and let us make your next project a resounding success.
We're here today right outside Colorado Springs to welcome home DT and his family here in the beautiful smart home that the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has just completed.
I got hurt December 2005 in Afghanistan, and that day we're out on a mission and I got hit by an IED while I was in my truck. Today we're in my home that Tunnel to Towers built for me. A smart home is someone that's disabled like myself, kind of makes their lives a little easier. The thought that I don't have to worry about paying a mortgage.
We're asking all Americans to donate $11 a month. This is where your money's going, and this is what we're doing with it.
You know, some of us came back, some of us didn't, and thank God for organizations like Tunnel Towers. They're able to be there to help us when we need it.
Our mission is providing that support, advocacy, and awareness for organ donation. Be a forever hero, donate life is the message we want to get out there.
As an FDNY firefighter, he was a hero in life. As an organ donor, Billy Moon, also a hero in death.
FDNY firefighter Billy Moon's heart was successfully transplanted into 63-year-old Richard Grell last December.
And as his widow, Christina, processed her heartbreak and her grief, she fulfilled a promise that was made to her husband and donated his organs so others could live. 5 lives were saved in the process.
There are around 103,000 people waiting for a transplant across the country. One person can save 8 lives and improve up to 75 more.